Just need the notification.
Shalom, shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
First and foremost, want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh.
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash.
Double honors to the apostle and elders of the great millstone.
That's right.
Blessings unto the hopeful and sincere elect, man. Bakar Kodash. That's the holy elect. Baha Ratazah in and around the four winds of the earth, man. Let's get straight into it, man. You see what's going on this week, man. Nothing but breaking news. Now there's, there's war in the camp here in the Trump administration. Someone get that Matthews 12.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and you see what's going on with the back and forth between Trump and Elon Musk regarding them not seeing eye to eye anymore. Basically because Trump wants to, save money. He's trying to basically get rid of the $1 billion contracts that the government's been issuing to Elon Musk for how many years, man? He's just been sitting down like a lapdog for ages, just lapping off, leeching off the government for all these different projects and
space
projects and shit like that. But now they're trying to cut the bag short. And now even Trump saying, forget about going to Mars, go back to Africa, man. Throwing out them racist slogans and all that slurs and all that. Showing you that Trump's really a racist, man. They're both Edomites.
Yeah. And that Musk is supposedly a South African, isn't it?
Yeah. And Trump just said that he's allowing South Africans to come to the American.
Yeah.
But now he's slimming them at the same time, man. So you can see that civil unrest, civil war is definitely brewing over there in the West.
Yeah.
North America, man. That place is going to be an upheaval of war and destruction very soon.
That's right.
And it shows you more proof that Satan be divided against himself. How shall his kingdom stand, man? Because you got this guy that was once supposed to be in league with each other. Now they're speaking against each other, man. And it's on main prime time news. We also obviously know it's all smoke and mirrors, but they're using that as a main distraction for what's really going on. Because at the end of the day, behind closed doors, we know that they're working together. They're buddy, man. They work together for the wicked elite. They're all part of the right wing, left wing, all part of the same filthy bird structure of the Roman Empire. And they're setting up, for this new world order, man. This new beast system. Yeah. We're going to go into that as well before we start off with that.
Yeah. This is Matthew 12 and 26.
Yeah.
And it says, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand?
Yeah, and that was the Lord cursing out them wicked scribes and Pharisees. You check out that chapter because they were trying to catch him and confound him in his words because he was casting out devils in the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh. The same thing we're doing today. But then you got our own wicked of our own people that will come up and say, you guys got devils on you, you got spirit of Beelzebub, like they said to our Lord.
Yeah.
If it says that in the Matthews, man, if they said that the Lord has a devil, they're going to say the same thing about us. Yeah. So is servant's not greater than the master. But at the same time, that was a twofold move in a bit. Yeah. That was twofold because now, now they're saying, now you're seeing the contention between the whole White House, man, and how they're basically a bunch of thieves, man. There's no honor amongst thieves, man, put it that way. And Elon Musk and Trump, they come from a lineage of thieves. Scripture says that the thieves come not but to steal, kill, and to destroy. They're part of the original colonizers of the earth. And this new world order, they're showing their true colors, basically. And the Lord's exposing them, man. It's part of the shameful spirit that talks about in Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. This is all part of the shameful spirits of why the Lord's going to pour out that mass judgment upon America, man, because they're a bunch of hypocrites, man.
That Musk is from an apartheid family, man.
Yeah.
Apartheid was basically South Africa's Jim Crow, basically. Which a lot of them South Africans be Israelites too.
Yeah, man, definitely.
So that was a Jim Crow.
You got a lot of Bantu down there.
And they know that a lot of them know they're Israelites.
Yeah, to wear the red and all that.
Yeah. So apartheid was a South African Jim Crow, basically. Real racism and segregation and things, on their own land. And even when you see the president of South Africa in Trump.
Oh, Trump, he was cursing man out.
Yeah, and then they played.
Screw face in black.
Right, and then they played. There's in South Africa you got I think they call it the EFF. They're like they hate the white Dutch settlers. Yeah, they want the land back basically. and they played the video to Trump, and then they were trying to embarrass the president of South Africa, but it really made Trump and them look stupid.
Yeah.
Did you see it? Because that EFF guy, he's basically a branch of Nelson Mandela's wife, and because Mandela was once a rebel, he was fighting the race. That's why they paint Mandela as this humanitarian, because he sold out to the Edomites. But they remember Esau imprisoned Mandela for like 20 plus years because of his belief system. Yeah. Then when he's free, they obviously took a deal. But
him and his wife, man.
yeah. But when you see that, the guy that you see now, you know that guy, they have that song, basically kill the Boers called. The Boers are like they're the Dutch settlers, the Boers. And then they have a song, the South Africans have a song called Kill the Boer, Kill the Farmer. But for political reasons, they've changed the song. You see them sing it. Yeah. But and then they played it to Trump. Yeah. Basically, they hate Esau, those guys.
Yeah, they hate Esau.
Yeah. So
he's the one that at the same time he's saying, "No, we don't care about those we don't care about the blacks.
Right.
We, help the white settlers and all that. Basically, help the white South Africans.
Yeah.
That's why they opened up their borders and said, humanitarian, immigration wise, so-called South Africans, which are basically a bunch of savages. They were kicked out of Europe.
Of England and Holland, Ireland and Holland.
Just like when they got kicked out into Australia, because they're a bunch of devils.
And New Zealand.
New Zealand and them areas, the outback and all
they're all prisoners.
Yeah, they're all prisoners. It's scapegoats basically. They escaped over there to South Africa, and they're a bunch of scoundrels. They're the scum of the earth. Now they want to be brought to America,
right? For
that civil unrest, man.
And they are gonna, and you know what? They're going there to die anyway. Yeah, they're gonna get nuked out there, and also Jake is gonna get their pound of flesh in America, because there's gonna be, like we've said it for years, Jake's gonna rise up over there too, and the Lord's gonna allow 2/3 to get it on with these nations, like the young lions. And them motherfucking devils, man, them Dutch devils. Look, man, in South Africa, 70% of the land is controlled by, not even 70, more than 70 is controlled by Esau. It's just they give you the envision that black South Africans are now taking over there. That's not true. The greatest portions of the land, the Cape and all that. There's a place called Orania. That's a whole Edomite city.
Yeah. That's they got the best parts.
They got the best parts, bro. They still control it. So when you see them coming over here, they're not fleeing being oppressed. When they go into America, they're just getting open hands by their other Edomite brethren.
That's it. They're not being oppressed. That's the whole thing. It's fictitious, man. It's all part of the theatrics and deception of so-called white oppression now. Now all of a sudden there's so-called white oppression going on, and white people getting attacked. The so-called Jays are being attacked now. It's all for the fucking propaganda of news, so they can act like they're victims at the same time. But at the same time, you got BB dropping bombs on them fucking Palestinians every other day. Now they're fucking with those people over there in Lebanon. We're going over there to Lebanon to fuck with them. Trying to drop bombs on them. And that's why we're getting all this discomfort and tension brewing in the earth. Because we're in the time of war. So we get that as well. Ecclesiastes 3 and 8. Yeah, there's a time for everything right now. We're in the time of war, man. Great war is going to commence in these last days. So you have got the first one.
Ecclesiastes 3, start from verse 8. A time to love and a time to hate. A time of war and a time of peace.
We're in the time of great hate, man. This is not the time of love. Because all the nations are mourning right now. What does the scripture say? Proverbs 29. When the people mourn, when the wicked ruleth, the people mourn. That's showing you that there's a wicked nation of people on the earth, biblically known as the Edomites. It's really come from the spawn of Satan, the seed of Satan on the earth. And their names are Edomites, man. And they come from the seed of Esau. It's the first so-called white man that was on the face of the earth after the flood. Before that, you had his predecessor Cain, the forefather Cain, who murdered his brother Abel in cold blood. And he got persecuted on the secret mark of leprosy, for killing his own brother in cold blood. And then lied to the Heavenly Father and said, I'm on my brother's keeper.
I don't know. Basically, I don't know. I didn't, like you can hide. That's Esau today.
Esau's just a cold-blooded murderer, man. He has no remorse for any wickedness that they do, like BB today. They're dropping bombs constantly, nothing but straight genocide. Thousands or hundreds of thousands of kids and women and children innocently killed, massacred over there in Gaza and all that, starved out.
Until this day, right now.
Until this day, they're still act like they're still the victims of the old
And it's almost like, see now, we live in a world now, because this truth is so heavily out there, and social media and things like that, but even to an extent, they've even started to try and make people forget that they're actually bombing over there in Gaza and that. It's almost like it's happened. There's nothing we can do. It's like kind of being so-called trying to dust it under the rug. But now everyone knows you can't hide it anymore.
Everyone's seen the receipts now.
We all know we're under a net of oppression. The whole world, you can't hide it anymore. But their media and their witchcraft so strong, they can make you forget things over time. But now is a time where Esau can't do that anymore.
People are waking up. People are not falling for the okie doke and the witchcraft media anymore, man. Because before the internet was created, Esau used to just write in books, so he was actually there to see the time of the colonization and things that was happening. He used to see it in books and newspaper reading or whatever, what's happening around the world. So we never actually got tell signs of, back-to-back signs of seeing the massacres that were taking place. But since the internet and the surge of social media, the TikTok videos, we're seeing nothing but slaughtering. Seeing videos of children being slaughtered, mothers and all that, people bombing schools, all these different things getting shot, crossfire and all these different things. Or just getting, massacred and assaulted, by the soldiers and all that, the IDF soldiers. So people can't hide behind the false narrative of they're just teens and we're just going up, we're trying to go after our mosque. That's all propaganda, it's all bullshit.
And even now, them Israelis, when they go on, do you want to say something?
No, I've got a piece of ask you.
You know, read the precept.
Yeah? Jeremiah 49:10, it says, but I've made Esau bare. I've uncovered his secret places.
You know what I say as well, like with the internet, it offers you like an unfiltered view of everything that's going on. So you can see straight up and down all the wickedness that Esau's doing, because the majority of these news outlets and these newspapers, they're all owned by rich Edomite Amalekites anyway. So even if they're doing fuckery, they're gonna make sure that the publications that they own ain't gonna paint them in a negative light. So they like even with CNN and that, they were saying, yeah man, we're trying to get this aid to the civilians, but Hamas keep on coming up in between them pretending to be civilians, so we got to shoot the civilians. So respect the soldiers.
And then it comes out that they're just fucking cutting them off from the aid. And if you see now, the curses are going on Esau, because even now, them Israelis, which they're the top of Esau, they go in countries and people are refusing them in their shops. Have you seen that? Yeah, no Israelis allowed, and that you see it in Vietnam. There was a video of this Vietnamese guy getting them out of his shop. He didn't want them. There's one in Thailand. They didn't want them. Get out of the store. So basically, all the nations are despising Esau. See, there was one time when a black man could go on the planet and be despised. Now, you can see those curses are falling slowly going onto Esau. Because I'm noticing these devils are not as proud as they once were, even where we are.
That's right.
They're proud, but their world is actually slipping.
They used to be able to just go anywhere, Thailand and all these different places. But even that's going out of all there. You're noticing that there's bare Gary Glitters over there.
It's all coming out. Even Mother Teresa, who they call Mother Teresa, she was she was like, you heard the say, Mother Teresa, you heard if you do something good, a woman does something, she's like Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa was a child trafficker, man. She was a witch. She was related to Fauci. She was a child trafficker, Mother Teresa. That was the rule. She was a nun in a cult. She was a covent nun, and she was a real witch. You know how many children she massacred?
Definitely.
And she was, you know who she was interlinked with? You know that Ghislaine Maxwell? That was with that Epstein and all that. They're all interlinked. They're all even related to Mother Teresa, the real Mother Teresa. She was nothing but a fucking child sacrificer, man.
I wouldn't be surprised if she's related to Sangha.
Maybe so, bro.
The abortion clinics.
Yeah, Mother Teresa had access, to all the impoverished children of the planet. Indian kids, children from Haiti, Israelite kids. It was a free reign to just have adrenochrome.
She was the female version of my man.
Right.
What's his name? My man,
Glitter. Not Glitter. Yeah. What's the one in England? You know the name?
Savile.
Like the female version of Jimmy Savile, man. She had better access to children.
That's right. And Jimmy Savile, he was like knighted by the royal family. And Jimmy Savile, he had access to like mental homes and children's hospitals. He had keys to them.
Wow. He's friends with Philip as well. I mean, what was it? Charles. Yeah, Prince Charles and them. Royal family.
So even that whole Mother Teresa, they painted her as this saint. Remember what the scripture say? Marvel not if Satan himself is transformed into an angel. So these devils, they transform their wicked people into angels of light. But in reality, now the dirt's coming on them.
Now that's the part of the shameful spews. Now everything's coming out. The Lord's making their wickedness uncovering the fire, making the wickedness known to the world, because we're in a time of great judgment.
Yeah.
We're in a time where these Edomites are about to get full-on, hardcore, retributed judgment from the Yahweh Shem Yahushua. That's all the wickedness that they've done to the children of Israel, namely the people of these tribes, the 12 tribes of Israel, and even for other nations and the whole world in general, right? Because this whole world is fucked up under the, the rulership of these devils, man, because they err in understanding. That's why the Lord said he mingled the perverse spirit. Go ahead.
And this is 2 Corinthians 11 and 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light.
Yeah, man, these devils are transformed from so-called savages, and they came as pilgrims over to the New World and acted like they was coming to save humanity. When really they brought nothing but scurvy, germs, warfare, bloodthirsty lust and all that. Crime. That's what they brought over to the New World, man. Savagery. They brought over straight up cannibalism, murdering of innocent. Same shit they would have did to the Native American Indians. I see someone on the comment board try to say you can't relate what's going on to the people over there in Palestine to what happened to the Native Americans. It's the same fucking thing. The only difference is it's been televised now.
That's it.
We got a visual aid to see exactly what these devils are doing. Same shit that we would be seeing.
Same
if
technique.
Christopher Columbus's time, where he had the sword and he said he couldn't put it down for an hour, man. His hand was cleaved onto that shit like hard iron, man. Because he was out there just massively. He even said it in different quotes. These people are nice people and all that.
Yeah.
They're so kind. They'll make easy slaves. That's what he said out of his own fucking mouth. Out of the horse's mouth, man. He said they'll make good slaves.
And see, even that, the way that Esau paints history is that he just demolished our people. But the fact is, once Jake by nature have a Jake, they're always open to everyone. By nature, Jake's like that. But you know what? Once them tribes realized these people are just evil, they actually went to war with them. They were fucking them up. But the Lord had to put the spirit on Esau to win for that period, to humble us down to be in slavery, so then we can regain our consciousness back again now.
For prophecy's sake.
Because there was times they were doing all that slaughter, but them Spaniards, they had to go and regroup, and they were getting fucked up.
Jake was natural warlike people.
Natural
warlike people.
Remember, the only people the U.S. military never conquered is the Seminole Indians. Yeah, and they never signed no treaties with Esau. Even Gad and all that, they were fucking Esau up. And that's written in the American history books, but they'll never tell you about those wars. Most of the wars America lost was to the tribes.
A lot of the fight backs and all that. And Jake was winning a lot of them, but obviously we couldn't win the war. We won a few battles, but we didn't win the war because ultimately, for prophecy's sake, we had to go down. It tells you Deuteronomy 28. We had to fall under the hand of our enemy, man. So we had to fall down no matter how hard we tried to fight back. It says no man shall buy you, no man shall render you, or redeem us at that time. But the Lord's going to come now and redeem his elect. That's the only difference, man.
So he can get the glory.
This is my kingdom, my servants will fight. And even like going on the tribes, you had the Benjaminites, the tribe of Maroon, and they was fighting against the English for how many years, 8 years or something like that. And they was fucking them up. Guerrilla warfare, coming out the hills and all that. There was this massive.
That's why they're still hated by the crown.
The Maroons especially, man. So,
Esau always hates them, the Jakes that fully went in on him. That's why they
French as well, the Haiti and all that, the rebellions. But then that's why Esau went harder than through the IMF, and it just left them impoverished. And it's basically they're living off fucking dirt, crumbs, mud cakes and all that, off catching hell, just for fighting the devil. Man.
That ain't, and see, you devils, man. They always paint it like the nations like Haiti and nations where Jake is at are fucked up because their leaders are corrupt. No, they're fucked up because of the IMF, the central banks. The system that's in place over here fucks up those countries. All right, and that's all coming out. Those leaders are so corrupt. Well, who do they work under? There's no doubt there's corruption in every nation, but who's ruling the world to manipulate these people? You powers to be over here.
Economic hitman and all of that.
Economic hitman.
If you got anyone got Habakkuk 2, start from verse 4. Read that as well. But what have you got?
Let me finish off with Sure.
But if I didn't finish saying already, we're in the spirit in the time of war, man. And that's why you're seeing pestilences and famines that increase, and now they're saying they've got a new variant out there. And there's going to be more of that. There's going to be more wars and rumors of war. You've seen them striking over there in Lebanon. Like that war is going to grow. It's going to grow to the point of no return. Because now you got Russia having to shoot bare drones and drone attacks and bombs at Ukraine for Zelensky overstepping his mark, man. And that shit like that is going to escalate the war of Armageddon even closer. But the only reason why it's not going to take place yet is because the major prophecy of the MOT to the B needs to be instituted first, being a mark of the beast system, man. The image of the beast system, which we're going to go into that, as I said. You got Trump, who's basically dealing with the Palantir AI company to bring in AI centralized databases to track and trace all American citizens. So what is that? That's the image of the beast. That's that new financial system they're going to use to set up electronically to basically, have everyone branded and tagged into that new world order system, man. And it's going to be, by buying and selling all your health records, everything's going to be on there, and they're going to be able to track and trace you. They're using the term of, the immigration and all that as a fees to push that, sentiment or that project. But really, it's about control over the whole world, man. That's what it's all about. The AI. That's why Esau's so proud, because he's got that technology now. And the only difference between now and the ancient world is because, in the ancient world 2,000 years ago, why this is the image of the beast, because 2,000 years ago, what was Esau doing? He had census. They used to number the people in their different regions, and make sure they're paying their tribute, paying their taxes to the Roman governments.
The Lord don't like that.
Yeah, he doesn't like people being numbered, man. So
he numbers.
That's one thing Esau was known for during the Roman Empire. That's why it's the deadly wound that was healed. This is the second leg of that Roman Empire, but now they got that technology where they can use AI to do all the numbering now.
And you know what? In Rome, taxes were getting so high, people inevitably, because towards the end of Rome, before Jake, because Jake was in there anyway, but fully, when the pagan Romans fully fell, that empire was high taxes, morality was low, women were just all out, it was all out, people just sexing on the street, chaos, like lewdness, all of that, bro. Yeah, just like what we see now. Are we not seeing that today?
Same shit.
Bro, you see all kind of, we have to really realize, which we do, because we live in this madness, you're so accustomed to it, we're actually seeing people not wearing any clothes sometimes, we're seeing freaks out there, all type of shit. This is the end of a society. Taxes are high, the same as what happened in pagan Rome. You can see riots are coming, man. Transformers
have rights, and
Transformers have rights. Exactly. Traditions of men.
It's got to a point where they're stripping away the needs of the poor. The scripture speaks about even when you got a garden, you got to leave certain fruits out there. And portion. Esau will never do that.
It's a welfare system.
In America, with the Trump thing, he's basically stripping away the Section 8. And in America, they go for the ghetto. It's extreme poverty, bro. Them are Section 8.
But you see, Esau, he's a devil, because Esau's used everything righteous in the opposite way, because even with Section 8 and all that in America, you see, he really uses most of that to help the women. That's what he did, and get rid and demolish men. And really, them systems of people being impoverished is supposed to help people. Men and women, families.
Person man in his household.
So that's why now the Lord's having it where Esau is now taking that away from them. That's why it's going to be all that chaos, man.
That's it. That's all you can see it. It's just like a boiling. It's just like a stew. It's simmering up right now. You can see
fucking rent's high.
Yeah, everything's getting out of the cost of living. Everyone's getting fed up. The people are working all these long, dubious, long-ass jobs, and they're not earning the wage. Even if they're earning wages, but all their money's going on to the rent and paying their housing and all that. But they can't afford to live the way they need to live in comfort. The middle class is totally done away with now. It's just the rich and the poor, man. And the poor are being taxed. Especially with these new tariff laws and all that, the poor are going to be the one that suffer. The rich ain't being taxed for shit. So
the rich get richer. The rich get richer. Hey, bro, £100 nowadays is absolutely nothing.
That goes within 2 days.
2 days, £100. Buy a few meals, take a train or a bus, it's finished.
It's done.
If you ain't got a little reserve, you have to ask a brother for some change.
Other day, there's some online shopping for some groceries and that. And even like the cost of delivery for food now.
It's ridiculous, bro.
Fucking money you spent on the groceries.
It's
ridiculous. But then when you get the bags of groceries, all you got is like 4 or 5 items.
There's nothing in there.
There's nothing in there. You pay like £20 or something, plus VAT and plus fucking
Or like delivery.
Delivery fee.
Yeah, yeah.
You spend like £25 for like
Bro.
5 items, bro.
No, I'm telling you. Even
You know what I'm saying?
even
Fucked.
Audi, like 40 quid used to get you a bags of shopping.
Two bags.
Two bags.
I remember you used
Two
to
bags.
go, mums used to go
Problem.
shopping every 2 weeks.
Like,
You'll come back like 2 bags of shopping that would last about 2 weeks.
And that's Audi. That was Audi and all that. Audi and you know these so-called cheaper
Even
stores.
Morrison's,
Even Morrison's. Even in back in the day, up Stamford Bridge at Netto. Remember Netto?
That's the J shop.
Yeah,
Netto
Netto.
was a J
'Cause, you know, but Jake would be up in there because he got good deals. Just 40 quid would get you a bags of shopping. That's lasting your family.
bags.
Now that ain't getting you jacks nowadays.
Even the pound store, bro.
Yeah.
Ain't even a pound store.
Pound store,
Got pre-
And that's because you see these elites, they're so read the script.
just on the point you brothers saying, this is Revelation chapter 6 and verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse.
And that black horse represents the famine, the coming pestilences, and ultimately, the £200. Because they're saying in certain restaurants, you might go there, you sit down. As soon as you sit down, the plate of food might be £10 to £20. As soon as you get up to finish the food and pay your receipt, it might be in the hundreds. Who knows? Because Esau likes to slap tax on your shit anyway. Then he wants to get the service charge, and then he might have to tip them as well. But he's going to throw that all in there and then some, man. Hyperinflation, man. So that's what's coming. You're right, man. So that's what's coming right now. Your daily wages, especially the welfare cases and all that, Esau cutting all these snaps and all these EBT cards and all that. And the only way you're going to be able to get on those systems now is by having that biometric device. And then you're going to receive certain benefits, man. But even that's going to be like restricted to a certain extent. Because like they can do, with that biometric system, what they can do is they can give you a certain amount of money on the credits and debits. And if you don't use it by a certain amount of time, they can just expire and take it out of your fucking account.
Temporal money.
And they can take it out of your account whether you knowingly or not.
Which they can even, on a lower, technically they can even do that now with your banks.
They can do that now. They're getting it, they're putting it in legislation.
Yeah.
They want more authorization for different companies to have access to your bank accounts
Well,
now.
you know, on
third parties
Santander,
and that.
I got an email last time from a bank, and it was saying that basically be mindful now because things can happen where you could just lose money out of your account. I was like, what? And it was an official email. I was like, what? I was like, for real? And you even notice whenever you go on your online banking, you ever notice sometimes like it's servicing for like, you can't even get on it for like about 20 hours.
That was do that right now, bro. The
Metro
whole,
Bank, they do that a lot.
There's even one I got. Sorry, go on.
no, I was just saying, NatWest, the whole app for all their customers went down yesterday for time.
Yeah, I'm on that. Bro, the thing won't let me on for like 24 hours.
Yeah, they just put the little thing there, troubleshooting, phone this number and all that. Ain't no point phoning the number. You can't get
You ain't
into
gonna
your
even
fucking
get
account.
through.
Yeah, you can't even get through to no one either. It's all set up like that. These glitches in the matrix, they're doing it on purpose because they're going to shut down the whole thing anyway. And the only way you're going to be able to get in there is by having that's it, real ID. They want you to have that new real ID, man. So everything's going to be authenticated and identified through that biometric device. And anyone that ain't teaching the MOT to the B's to see it, you're either a sellout or the Lord ain't dealing with you. You're condemned anyway. Because anyone can see, everyone can fucking see, even Stevie Wonder can see that all roads are leading to the MOT to the B right now. Everything that's happening in society, even on the smoke and mirrors that's going on, everything is leading to the MOT to the B. They're already setting up an infrastructure. All they just need is a big black swan event, man.
5G towers are all over the place. That's
They
been
keep having
happening.
they keep shutting down all these different banks and all that, having all these glitches, all of a sudden losing millions of dollars and all that, just disappearing and all that in people's accounts. Like the brother said, they can't access their account certain times. So they're already setting up the stage for like, this is going to be the plan A and plan B of how we're going to deal with the situation.
And they keep talking about blackouts.
Blackouts and all
They
that.
keep talking about that. Society could black out and blah, blah, you know.
Because they need it. They need this order to have
they need the chaos.
Order to have chaos.
And sorry. No, read, sorry.
Genesis 47 and 15. And when the money failed in the land of Egypt and in all the land of Canaan, all the Egyptians came unto Joseph and said, give us bread, for why should we die in thy presence, for the money faileth? So they went to Joseph, the rulership seat, and said like the money's fucked, they ain't worth nothing anyway. But we like, why should we die because of the fact that there's hyperinflation? Give us food to eat, and that's how these people are gonna be when the money closes shuts down. All these Sainsbury's and the Morrisons and the Asda's are
The
gonna get
only
run off.
difference between that and that empire back then, Joseph, was for 7 years they kept
Yeah.
the plenty, and then for 7 years they had the famine.
Yeah.
So he was wise in that fact, is that they had a lot of stock in store for that hyperinflation time, the time of the great famine that was going to take place. But in this modern day society, people ain't storing for a rainy day. They ain't storing
They
for
think
a
that
7
the
days.
Tesco Express is
Yeah,
gonna be like
I think the
forever.
retailers are always going to be
Yeah.
open.
Last a few weeks back, where I live, there was a co-op, and the co-op, I went in there and there was no drinks. I said to the man, I said to him, bro, where's the drinks at? He said,
trucks.
we've been backed up for 7 days. There was nothing in there. Yeah. Then the very next day I went there, and then what I done, where the location I was going to, I went. There was a Tesco. I went in there, same thing. Yeah. And then the next day, the card holder bit was down. He said, it's only cash for a few days. Which they never do that. And then I went and saw a few of the brothers, and they told me up where they live, the co-op did the same thing.
Yeah,
It was backed up, and and I think Marks and Spencer's had a big glitch go on where it affected all the payout thing.
So once the truck start bringing the stores, the retailer to the retailers and all that, once they start coming in, that's when there's going to be mad strikes, man, and mad food shortages.
Precept?
So the storehouses are going to be empty.
Yeah, that's I got that. Yeah, I can just on the point. This is 2 Ezra 6:22, and suddenly shall the sown places appear unsown.
Suddenly, all of a sudden, as I said, people are not thinking about what's going on in society. They're just living for now. They're not thinking about the long term of famine, pestilences, things that are going to cause mayhem in society. They just think because the lights are still on, that, everything's always going to be working. Not knowing that they're in the midst of great destruction, man. The Lord said, many have walked in great pride. Many miseries are going to come upon them that have walked in great pride. What are they celebrating right now? Pride Month, man. A bunch of flamers and moles and all that over there.
Oh, is that now? Is that
This month, June, innit?
They're so irrelevant.
Yeah, and there's like a bunch of our people involved in
Yeah.
Sodom and Gomorrahs, man. The Lord's going to destroy them. That's right. They're the same niggas that's going to be in the part of these starvations and the part of these pestilences that are going to be increasing. That's why with the STIs, a lot of the jakes are getting caught up in that, especially these black hyenas. They're getting caught up with the STIs because they're just out there just opening their legs to every arrow, man. Every arrow. Opening their quiver to every arrow, man. So all those diseases are spreading throughout the Jake communities, man. Whether Chicago or Texas.
Atlanta.
Yeah, Gay Atlanta and all of these different. The Jakes are turning into freaks, man.
Houston,
They're a bunch of R. Kellys and diddlers, man, out here, man.
STDs are fucking demons
Yeah.
for adultery and shit.
They're the punishment to the
Demons.
wicked, man.
Yeah.
So that's why the Lord's going, and the Lord's going to kill 2/3 of our people, man. Because they're going to ultimately take that mark of the beast anyway, and then the Lord's going to have to kill them because they would have took that mark for deletion. They would have pledged allegiance to this new world order, man.
And it says, the full storehouses shall suddenly be found empty.
Like brothers are saying, man, the truck strikes are going to be a major thing in the next coming weeks and months. Truck strikes are going to be major, man. And there's not going to be no more food in the stores, man. And people are going to be panic buying. Saw how they was going crazy for gas last year and fighting over tissue and shit like that.
Yeah.
They're going to be going crazy for the least of the products in there, man. Just for baby products, all that. People are going to be going scratching tooth and nail just to get supplies in these last days. But the Lord's going to make it where you ain't going to get none of those supplies, man. You're just going to be out here suffering, man. And that's part of your judgment.
But you see in America, they got an obesity problem, number one, and then secondly as well, most people in America are sick and on prescription drugs. Yeah, the majority of them come from Europe, and then fucking Trump knows what he's doing. That's why he put a 50% tariff on Europe, bro. So when people are trying to go get their fix for their medication, they ain't gonna be able to afford it. And on top of that, it's probably not even gonna be there anyway. On top of that,
You got the term obesity, but the brothers are myself call it obesity. Because America is known as the obesity, man. There's not these women out here, these hyenas are looking at a bunch of big shirleys, looking at fucking rhinos on foot, a bunch of gorillas, wild animals, brute beasts. They're so manly and masculine. You can't even call these bitches women anymore, man. They don't want to do anything womanly. You ask them to make you a sandwich is a problem, man. Let alone be get in between their legs and dealing with that funky box, man. You can't even trust these heifers anyway, man. Look at all these celebs and all that. Every 2 weeks there's a marriage, arranged marriage, and then there's a divorce 2 weeks later. It's a joke. The whole America's just become a laughing stock.
Bro, relationships and family in this world is pretty much done, man.
Yeah.
If you got like a smidgen of family and that type of stuff going on, you know, they held on to some values, but most of the shit is finished.
You ain't
Relationships.
got married from like the 70s and 80s and that. Them relationships are done and dusted, man. You ain't no 20-year, 30-year time relationships no more. Them shit don't even last. Marriages don't even last a year anymore, man.
It's done.
All this whole, and you know, especially with these modern women, hate to burst your bubble,
Yeah,
man, but
fuck them,
you
bro.
ain't finding the
They're not virtues, bro.
You ain't finding a Sarah. You ain't finding a Sarah.
Hell no.
I swear,
You
bro.
find a woman that will call you Lord, man. I'll give you all the money in my account. Ain't much, bro. I'll give you something.
I'm sorry, man. That's why we're waiting for the kingdom to
Yeah,
happen.
find
You
a
know,
woman.
the spirit has it where brothers always mention we're going to get our women abroad.
Yeah.
And when this falls, when the system falls and the Lord beams us up and we come down New
But
Jerusalem.
even before the kingdom,
Yeah.
Isaiah 4 and
Yeah,
4,
that's true. Yeah.
these women are going to be
Yeah.
humbled, man, because they're going to realize all this feminism bullshit that the white man was feeding you, it was all witchcraft, it was all a lie, man.
Except-
You're going to realize all that independence talk, you need a man.
need a man.
You need, especially when all hell breaks loose, time of Jacob's trouble, you're going to need a man to protect your stinking ass,
You're gonna need a
man.
man.
And you're going to bow down and kiss the ring.
And what I wanted to say is basically a lot of our wives are abroad. Say that.
No, yeah,
Say
definitely.
Philippines.
Yeah, that's why brothers
all
will
of
take the
that.
passport, bro.
Passport, and that was the spirit.
That's the spirit.
Really, the passport bros was really for us to edify.
Yeah.
Look at the
That's going to
difference.
happen anyway.
It's gonna happen.
Because we're actually going to go to them countries and we're going to grab up their women. And their women are going to be more than willing because they're not, already in that subservient spirit.
Anyway.
Of being women, of being like catering to their man. So they're naturally just going to be like, oh, you're pods and all that. They're going to be bowing down, kissing man.
It just shows you
doing
women.
anything to be with them, man.
It just shows you the women outside the Western world
Yeah, the Western world.
are more. It's like an observation, isn't it? It's night and day. What you're seeing here in the UK and America and whatnot is just complete corruption.
And that proves that a man is allowed to have more than one wife. It's look how much women are out there, man. When you watch the videos on YouTube and that guys going to Thailand, different, or Philippines, or even Brazil, Colombia, there's bare women, so many women that's ready to be taken, bro, and they're ready to do anything just for them to be called your woman. They're willing to bow down, do anything, man. You just don't want to bring them to the Americas because that's when they're going to be corrupted.
Change.
You know, they're going to change their behavior pattern. They're going to be start watching Beyonce videos and shit. And now all that shit's going to feed into their brain. They're going to start talking that independence talk and then see you're fucked.
Yeah, because those countries outside the West, men have more rights.
Yeah.
So women are more in order because basically they can wind up dead. The women in Brazil, as fine as they look over there, the men will kill them.
Straight away.
They're not playing around. The women in wherever, South America, different parts of Africa, they're not playing around.
You got all the Arab land as well. You got bare women over there wearing the burqas and that. They're ready to be taken, man. Bare virgins probably as well. Because we're going to get virgins in the kingdom, funny enough. A lot of the women we're going to be dealing with, we're going to be straight fresh off the ground. Never touch the man, especially specifically for each Israelite man. As part of the elect.
The next
So
world is going to be a man's world, man.
It's gonna be a
Not this bullshit, man.
It's right to fall.
This is a matriarchy right now, meaning it's been ruled by women. Because it's a woman's vibration, man. That's why they worship Ishtar and all these different goddesses.
Women's
It's all
first.
under, it's all that Queen of Heaven spirit. It's under Virgin Mary. It's under a woman's vibration. Like he was talking about Mother Teresa. All that BS, man.
Yes. And men are just like, what was you going to say?
I was just gonna say here they give a woman liberty to gather abroad, man. They
Of course.
give a lot of freedom to these women to the point, like they even got quotas and jobs where you have to have women in leadership in certain positions, otherwise your company can't run. Like it just goes to show you, like this place is it's set up for a woman. To
There's one place I was at, bro, and a lot of jobs, most jobs are for men, straight out like that. As soon as you involve a woman, it causes fucking problems, man. I saw it like last year, it happened. I was like, what is it? Why the hell did they even, I'm not going to say what it was, but the woman was there and it fucked up the whole thing.
Vibration.
It brought so much heat down on the place. People were just, just off of that one.
Because women bring confusion.
Yeah.
That's why when you got women around, they fuck up the whole vibration. That's why women's not to be amongst men, especially in the congregation, amongst the church. Women ain't allowed to be around us, man, because they just cause nothing but confusion, man.
keep
There's
it at
just
home.
emotional slurs, and that vibration, like, leeches onto other men. Because men want pussy, man. So men will start losing their faculties because they want to please the woman.
Yeah. Even
That's
look
why
at
women are supposed to stay away, man.
look at the story of Joseph here. She was Pharaoh the Pharaoh's wife. She was married onto the they were heathens, but she was married onto the king.
king
And
of the
she saw
land.
the number two and said, no, but like he's running the kingdom better than my husband. I need to have
Think
him.
about Pharaoh and Joseph.
Yeah, Pharaoh Joseph.
The bitch that tried to
Tried to
Pharaoh
give
adultery.
And then Joseph ran, and then she grabbed him.
After finish, he ripped his garment
ripped
off
his garment
as he was running.
Yeah, bro.
You know, he was keeping the law. He said,
She's
fuck
a
this.
lust
bro.
fornication. She's a sucker of a slut.
And he got the hell out of there.
He's showing you that these bitches are really leeches, man. And they want to suck off your energy. When they see that you got a righteous spirit, that's righteous spirit, power type of energy, they want to leech off that, man. So she was just lusting over him like, Joseph, you know, you got a husband, man, you damn. She was a heathen of that as well.
And you remember this thing, they use this hypergamy thing. Women, it's never enough for women. They're just insatiable, bro. She was linked to the king. And even that is not enough, bro. She was like, no, I gotta have this new fresh meat. Like, I gotta try this out.
That's why in righteousness, women have to be put in slavery. That's it.
But this is why the this is why STDs is off the charts. Because it's really these women, man. Like, men are freaks too, but really these women, they're easy access, man. As soon as you like, as soon as they feel that little temptation, they're willing to do anything, man. That's why it's a sit not at all with a woman's wife, or a man's woman, man. You're not to sit with her and drink nothing, only conversate with her, don't do nothing, because that temptress spirit will attack you, man. And then before you know, you'll be in between her thighs, man. Because she's ready to do whatever. A woman's always willing to do whatever, man, unless she's got some form of integrity. But most of these women nowadays, they ain't got no fucking integrity. They brag. But nowadays they brag and boast of how many bodies they've got. You got bitches out here saying I cheated on because it was my birthday. I have the right to cheat. Like these bitches fantasize about doing wickedness all the time. That's why scripture says all wickedness is but little to the wickedness of a woman, man. Because these women are straight up trifling, man. You know, these women can't be trusted. So you got to be extra careful, not even just careful, and especially with these black hyenas, man. That's why apostles have always been saying, stay away from these black hyenas. Seeing all the news articles coming out about these black hyenas, man. And now with the STIs and all that spreading because of the black woman, you've got to stay away from these heifers.
Flesh-eating STI.
Even that Bonnie bitch, the blonde one, taking on 1,000 men.
The Bonnies and all them little OF models, OF models. They're freaks as well, man. You got to stay away from the
They're just pushing whoredom, isn't it?
That's what it is, online prostitution.
End of this world. And they
Prostitution.
put their fucking blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman as a big slut in Babylon now.
Crazy. Yeah.
Like she's like
That's
an
what
open
That's what America's represented by a whore.
a blonde-haired, blue-eyed. Do you know that blonde-haired, blue-eyed is the king or look of this world? And she's like the biggest slut. You seen her, Bonnie Blue?
Yeah, Bonnie Blue, the other one as well.
Yeah, Lily Phillips. And then they're going on all these shows talking about and she was crying. That Lily Phillips one was crying, saying, "Oh, she basically demented at all the how much
She's
time?"
brought this bullshit.
Yeah, right.
Because the next day she was doing another scene. You know what I'm saying? Probably that same day.
Yeah, and all they're doing is corrupting the youth. These are your role models.
Yeah.
These are your role models,
Yeah,
man.
like young man and all that. She should be getting done for like PDF files, but because she's a woman, they don't look at it as PDF. But if it was Gary Glitter or something like that, or you know,
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly, or
They
what's my
railroaded
name,
him, bro.
what's my man back in the day used to sing all them songs, man.
White brother.
Yeah, the Australian brother. He used to sing all them Christmas songs and all that. You know what I'm talking about with the glasses. Edomite brother. No, Elton John. Australian. You know the Edomite skinny looking, Where's Wally looking character.
Okay, what's his famous track though? That shit, you gotta say it's probably Bait.
Yeah, he's one of them bait early 70s, 80s singers, man. I can't remember the name off the top of my head right now. It's escaping me. I can see his face. But all them type of top singers, man, they're involved in all that, man. That's lascivious type behavior, the debaucherous. That's why all the shit's coming out on the Diddy now. They're even trying to say that Trump was part of the same Epstein list. Trump was doing the same thing. They're showing old videos of him. Parties,
I saw something.
doing that Trump dance. Doing that Trump dance.
I saw a video of Diddy and it's like
McCartney?
No. It's a male singer.
I see a video with Diddy and it's like
He used to sing a lot of Christmas songs.
okay, yeah. It's probably a Bait name as well.
One all them.
Wonderful Christmas time.
Yeah, he was something like.
Yeah, McCartney.
No, you're talking about an Australian.
That's the.
No, it's real shit, man. So a lot of wickedness going on out
He's a
there.
Jake. Yeah, yeah.
A whole lot of wickedness. And to be honest with you, like nowadays, the average woman.
Cliff Richard, isn't it?
Is it Cliff Richard?
That old devil. Yeah, they Cliff Richard.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
There's them niggas get caught out there. Isn't it Cliff Richard? It is Cliff Richard, isn't it?
Cliff Richard, let's see.
Oh, yeah, man. Sexual depravity, that sexual magic is it's a heavy spirit out here, man.
That's
Yeah.
Cliff Richard, but isn't he American? Cliff
Yeah,
Richard?
yeah, Cliff Richard. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Sorry, he's American. Yeah.
Cliff Richard's
But
American.
Them old school, they get caught out there nowadays for all these, you know, the big like.
Yeah, I was
get
gonna
caught
come.
up in sex. Essay, you know.
You see, with Diddy,
charges and
a lot of celebrities have done a runner from America because
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like they're getting out because they don't want to get
caught
caught in the indictment.
Yeah.
I saw like Mia
they're all
Kunis,
involved,
Leonardo
man.
DiCaprio, they've all fled America.
All involved. That's
They're
right.
all in it.
No, man.
Yeah, man.
Tom
See,
Hanks.
fucking, what's his name?
Tom Hanks, is he still? I don't know if he.
He's been on the run.
Yeah, I heard.
But
Yeah, he went
everyone
to
knows
Greece.
Tom Hanks is involved. man. But like everyone knows, but the Diddy party people, Leonardo DiCaprio's not in America. Ashton Kutcher, they've all fled America because of indictments.
Ashton Kutcher's wife divorced him because of his accusations of his He's got a divorce now. But they all do it, man. It's not just one person. It's an industry of fucking whoredom, man. It's more than they
It's only the Lord's bringing down Hollywood. man.
over there in Hollywood. Man.
Hollywood,
That's what they do. If you want to be in Hollywood, you have to do all these wicked sacrifices. It's the only way you're going to make it into the next level, man. You have to be a demon. That's why I said for the love of money is the root of all evil. What are you willing to do to make that money, man? You're willing to get pissed on, shit on, all that. Like the Cassies, she was getting pissed on for like 10
she's
she
a
was
hoe.
getting pissed on for one.
She was a
She was
skis.
getting pissed on for like 10 years, bro.
Yeah.
Every time they had a sexual freak off, whatever, she was getting pissed on.
But they tried to make her act like she was innocent.
Yeah, bro.
Like Diddy was just stamping on her.
Yeah.
She was involved in the same.
loved it, man.
Listen, they're all in the same hypocrisy. She was a big hoe.
And the body
That's
is
it.
blue, whatever, them girls get pissed on as well.
same
Phillips, Lily Phillips, they get pissed on as well. So they love all that shit, man. They're freaks, man.
You seen that video where they interviewed the Punisher guy? The guy's called the Punisher.
Yeah, I seen that.
And then he's like, yeah, man.
Cameron went into, he was like, how was the pussy, man? I was like, yo, that's too far.
Oh, wow.
Ask them, man, how was the vagina,
Right.
man? She got STDs first and foremost.
Right.
Cancer diseases. You don't want to know how that pussy felt, man.
Right.
He was eating it out. He was like, all that mad shit he was doing. Just that Diddy's just a freak of patient, man. That guy Diddy's a wild boy, man. That's why he needs to be put to death. Fuck
He's like a Masonic sexual deviant, Diddy.
less luminary, man.
They said he had a hijab on in the room with a New Era cap on. And
I saw that
He
one.
was wearing a burqa.
Wears wigs and all that stuff.
yeah.
He's a freak. Yeah, he used to wear the wigs and all that. He's been a freak. It's only just coming out now because
But even
he basically bit the hand that fed him. So
no, that's why they, yeah,
That's
because
it,
and I think what it was as well was Diddy was going against. He was trying to get a bit more above his station.
Yeah.
I think
that's
he had,
what it was.
he had like alcohol deals and shit,
That's
and
it.
he was trying to outdo them and that out here in Europe
sued
and
them.
that.
He
He said, know
Yeah.
your place, basically.
Yeah, basically, you know, they'll come against you.
Esau not going to let you get no power, man. Esau will only let you get so far. That's why they call it a grass ceiling. But if you try to go above that, try to reach the elites, trillionaires, and Esau ain't going to let you do that, man, because you're not one of them. You don't come from that lineage anyway.
Even
So he's not going to let you get up there.
and
Precept.
even my man, Biggie Smalls and all that. Man, they were all. If you hear some of his old lyrics, it's nasty. Like talking about,
Bear
popping his
Moses.
girl's dad and all that. Yeah, Ben Moism, his lyrics.
He had a tranny in his
Yeah. That was a tranny, man. In the
Busta Rhymes in that.
in that what song is that?
Big Papa, man.
Big, yeah, that's right.
club in that.
It was a tranny, man.
That was a
'Cause that
tranny
same
with Busta
girl was in LL Cool J's doing it video.
They're all
That
there.
same girl, that same he, she
LL Cool J has been a freak.
is in the doing it. They're doing it video. LL Cool J, she's in. He is in that. The same one that's in the Biggie
He
video.
actually said that in one of his songs.
Yeah.
He tried to say, why did he say that? He said, like, it sounded good.
Right. They're all involved in the same.
Song, bro. Yeah.
I got precept.
Them are into that lifestyle. That's what Hollywood's about. If you didn't know, for you guys out there that want to make it in America, the American dream, you have to be a demon and you have to succeed literally to reach
that level.
You have to get, sperm put on your nipples and like Diddler and all that, doing all foul kind of shit, debaucherous type of shit. This is the same shit they was doing in ancient Rome. Them all Roman orgies and shit. This is the same shit they was doing. As in Rome do as the Romans do. So that's why there's nothing new, man. These guys are just modern day Romans, man. Centurion, like citizens. That's all that is.
So a quick one, yeah. This is for what? This is 2nd Ezra chapter 8 and 50. It says, "For many great miseries shall be done to them that in the latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride."
Because this world is full of pride and lust and wickedness, man. The wickedness is exceedingly great. So that, as you said, the example of them celebrating Pride Month right now, as we speak, man. The Rainbow Coalition, which they made fun of the whole rainbow thing, man. Which is supposed to be a covenant between the Lord and the sons of God, the children of Israel, or the sons of Noah, that he would never flood the earth again with water. But they've used that and totally just debaucherized it, flipped it, and turned it into some demonic symbol, man. Now anyone that sees a rainbow thinks man's a fruit cake and all that, man, fruit and nut. So that's why this place needs to be done away with. Sodom and Gomorrah got destroyed just for that alone. So imagine this place now, this kingdom that's just way above Sodom and Gomorrah and steroids and everything else. The religions are off, all these things are off, man. This whole society women trying to usurp authority over men. You know, the power structure is totally off. You know, these devils that are ruling the earth, just destroying the mindset of the people with their doctrines, destroying the food and water that we drink and eat. You know, the air that we breathe, the mind. Like, this whole place needs to be taken out, man. Destroying the earth.
Even the chemicals they use, like the BPA and plastic more that we all have to drink out of when you go buy anything from the shop. The feminizers, and all the chemicals and that, the fast food and that.
Everything's defiled,
estrogen, all the sugary treats and that, all of that, bro. It fucks you. Erectile dysfunction. There's men out here that just basically are just confused.
Yeah, all the people that took them fucking vaccines and the jump shot, they just suffered. But one of the main side effects was sterilization, man. Yeah. And then women was getting, women basically were suffering abortions as well from that. Miscarriages from that fucking stabbing job. Yeah. And this white man's the devil. That's why they had to exonerate Fauci, man. They had to give him a clean slate because what he did was straight up inhumane, man. He tried to kill millions of people, and he did as well. Yeah. And he got a clean slate to just basically sail into the sunset and hide, man. But he can run and hide all he wants. We're gonna get him back in the kingdom, though. Yeah. We're gonna get him and his kinfolk, all of them in the kingdom. Yeah.
No, they don't. None of them escape. So people can understand reincarnation is real, and Columbus is going to be in slavery. No one escapes. Hitler, the most evil people they show you in this world, so-called Hitler's meant to be in England, Hitler's the bad guy. Churchill's going in
compared to all these other devils, Hitler was kind of a good guy.
Right, that's true.
And he's still got to get persecuted because he's an Edomite, he's a Rothschild, man.
Yeah.
So he's still going to have to go through that hell. But compared to what these devils are doing now, he did a good thing because he tried to actually exterminate the Jays. He tried to exterminate them, man.
You know, in Amsterdam, in the Netherlands, they got like this Anne Frank museum, and then bro, her whole family were just a bunch of devils. But you know, like if you go, like my missus is into all of that shit. Anne Frank, and because she's trying to look at it from the worldly view of poor people. But bro, like basically, the whole Anne Frank thing is about how like in the Netherlands, the Germans come through and they just try to take them all out. But if you go on that tour, they'll have you thinking, them man are evil and what they did was wrong and but in actuality, bro, like all of them J's, you're seeing the true way of these Israelis think with the Palestine situation right now. You got ordinary civilians, bro, that have nothing to do with the war, talking about no, you can't bring the aid truck into our country.
Well, it's coming out who they really are. That's it. You know, it's coming out who they really are. Social media is like a double-edged sword, bro. Because even the Rockefellers, they said we should never have made it. Because one, they can put fluff out there, but the truth's out there. It's just obvious. It's coming out what they are. Everything you see on them, bro. What about that big thing that happened in the tunnels over there in New York?
I was just about to say that.
Speak on it.
It happened in New York. You see buggies under there, blood stains. You know what I'm saying? What are they doing there, man?
Saying it was hearing like Jewish people talking underneath the ground.
That's what I'm saying, man. Doing sacrifices, man.
Everyone knows, man. Everyone knows. Even during 9/11. All the Amalekites was told to stay home. The Amalekites, not even just elites, but Amalekites as a whole weren't sacrificed like the other Goyim were. Because even their elites will kind of bring them in a bit. Let's not kill the a lot of them Amalekites didn't get all smoked during the 9/11.
That's why, especially the Amalekites, man, the Lord said in Numbers, you're gonna be destroyed as a people, man. You're gonna be totally destroyed. From generation to generation, man.
That the Lord said that they were the first of the nations, their latter end shall be
that they should be destroyed, man.
And the Scamalakites.
You're the Scamalakites of the earth.
Scum of the earth, bro.
Be all them devils, man. Look what they're doing, man.
And even they tried to sweep that whole New York tunnel thing. The spirit had me on it. I was on the social media last night scrolling. It just kept coming up. I was loving it. It kept coming. I was like, shit. I was like, shit. I almost forgot that this happened. They tried to sweep that under the rug. The tunnels under New York, man. But hey, you can't sleep down under there.
None of those people got held up or put in prison for building tunnels underneath man's yards and all that.
Underneath the city.
There's no major investigation, nothing that came out of it. Nothing's come up with it. They just put it on the news and then they just faded away. You know? That's how these devils do.
That's it. So
But now they want to concentrate on the Diddler and all that. Like, that's the biggest thing in the news.
Like he's the most evil man.
Yeah.
Listen, he's just another demon, man. That's it. We're not. See, what the scripture says. We're not ignorant to Satan's devices. You think you're going to distract us with that news? It's not. We can just. It's edification for us, but we know who the real bad guys are, man.
You taught him to be.
Who taught him like that? Or who was the guy that taught him? What's his name? Clive Davis. Not Clive Davis. Clive Davis. Clive Davis taught him. Was the one that was schooling Diddy. And if you know about, if you know P Diddy's father was big in the real estate game years back. Yeah, they were all interlinked. It's all tied. P Diddy's father was a big time player in the drug game, the real estate game. Back when New York was like a hellhole, he was buying up a lot of real estate. Now New York's all built up, but there was a time in the 70s New York was like the ghetto. Like, you know, if you look at
Harlem Nights.
look at that, even when you look, Harlem Nights, that's right.
Eddie Murphy,
Even the Frank Lucas one, what's that movie called?
American Gangster.
Yeah, you see how New York looked like, you know, there was junk, there was fiends everywhere, there was fucked up communities.
They show you a little bit of that now with the Godfather of Harlem.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
You know,
When I say so, you know, it was the ghetto basically. That's the point. It was fucking, it was poor.
yeah. And then you had the Italians fighting against it. You know, Jake's trying to over the dude, they call it the douche.
Yeah. What's my man's name? Forrest Whitaker.
Yeah, Forrest
The
Whitaker.
douchey. That's the old way. That's the heroin. The douchey.
Jay
old man.
Jay not to make it trendy.
Yeah, the douchey.
You know, but it shows you that Spanish Harlem, that shit
Spanish
was corrupt.
Harlem, yeah.
Always corrupt. And all Malcolm and them lot, even though they got fictitious characters in there, like fictitious stories, but all Malcolm and them lot, they're all corrupt, man. They're all bought and paid for anyway, man.
But but on the point, Diddy has always been an insider because his dad was already.
He's FBI informant.
Yeah, his dad was already involved in certain things, you know? They don't just come out of nowhere, a lot of these guys. Like, it's not just some poor kid from the ghetto that just got up there and just is above everyone. They groomed.
They groomed. Yeah. That's why he was groomed from young. He was a Mason. He joined the Masonic from when he was early years in university. He was into that Masonry, the scene with the shrine hats and all that.
Yeah.
So he was into that from young.
Yeah.
Obadiah 1 and 2, the head subtitle is Edom will be humbled. And it says, verse 2, Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised.
Yeah, because everyone's seeing the true colours of the so-called white man now, man, especially through the eyes of Amalek, man, who call themselves the Jays today. Everyone's coming to see that these so-called white men are not as benevolent and righteous as they claim to be. They're not so-called white people, they're really red because they are the seed of Satan, man, spawn of Satan on the earth. And their deeds show what their true characteristics, man, their true colours. Like Esau's tracked me as long as a fucking marathon, man. All the wickedness that they've been doing throughout the ages. They're the original colonizers. They financed slavery. This is the tribe of Amalek we're talking about. They financed slavery. They benefited off slavery the most, man. That's why you got they have something called generational wealth. And they leave their subjects onto their babes because these devils made their money and their pockets fat off the backs of free labor of our people, man. Especially the Southern Kingdom. You know, it's these Jays that finance the whole slave trade, man. They over 70% of the slave traders were the so-called J owners, basically. Yeah. That's in the facts, man. But they don't want to teach that in your schools, man. They're gonna tell you that the Jays own them. They're gonna the Jays have always been persecuted. But the scripture says that if you be the real Jays, you'll be in mourning. You'll be in a state of mourning. You'll be persecuted. But these Jays today, they own every fucking everything, man. And they own every fucking industry. So how are they the persecuted? All these real estates and all that, $1 million houses, £1 million empty houses, just like houses just taking up space.
They own it.
They just own it, man. No one even fucking living there, but they own the plot of land that is built upon, man, the estates and all that.
Even their houses, they can put that 3 stories as if they're following the scriptures.
They've got their own fucking police. They've got their own ambulance service and shit, own schools for their little rat children, man. Little gerbils.
Bro, yeah.
running around the street, Stafford Hill, coming out of school, like running down the stairs, bare.
Or in the night time, if you ever drive down the area to come up, go on.
Bro, the Stamford Hill, blood, yeah, bro. The mega Sainsbury's store on the roundabout that used to be there, owned by one small hat, bro. I went in there, so that yeah, we're
The
closing it
school
down.
right next to it.
Yeah.
J school right next to it.
Yeah, right next to it, bro. That whole mega store, like 3 floors in Sainsbury's, bro,
junction.
owned by one small hat, bro. And they just literally closed down the Sainsbury's because he just felt like he wanted to change it to a superstore for small hats. Well,
Is that what it is now, yeah?
It's closed down now, but they're transforming it into like a small hat store. The one on the roundabout.
Hopefully they're not going to they're not going to, this kingdom's going to be gone before they can enjoy that.
Probably a Juice Sons and Cole.
Yeah, bro. But that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, a ridiculous one.
They own every fucking thing. So how are they the persecuted? How are they victimized? How can you claim victim and you own every fucking industry? You're in other people's land stealing their resources. But you want to claim victim all the time, man. You guys are nothing but a bunch of hypocrites, man. But your shit's coming out. Now that's why I say you're greatly despised. Because even America, because they're the face front of these so-called small hats with the land of Israel as well. Because anything that Israel do, America has to back them anyway. So America is now the laughing stock of the West, man.
The least of the flock shall draw them out.
Yeah. And everything that America does is off the backs of trying to support these Israelis and shit like that.
And it always will be.
Yeah, and they can't do nothing. They can't do nothing against that, man. They have to fight their corner because they're the ones who set them up in the first place. They're showing you that America is nothing but a fucking corporation owned by the small hat rats, man. Another corporation. Owned by the Jays.
You know the state of Israel. Originally there was a Uganda scheme because they was originally gonna try and put them in fucking Uganda, and the people there rebelled against it so hard that they just they had to go find an alternative plan B. And then the Rothschilds had the whole situation where they put them in there with the Palestinians talking about these people are gonna coincide and they're gonna work together. And then gradually the Palestinian territory
This
just
was
got
just a land grab,
smaller,
man.
smaller.
They were never going to work with you, man. It was a land grab. You know?
Yeah, bro.
Yeah.
100%, bro.
I got something? It's a quick one. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord, Yahweh Bar Hashem Yahweh Shai, shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
What I can say as well, like what nation of people is there that even in 2025, like Germany still paying subsidies to Israel to this day, bro. That man are they still have to apportion a portion of their budget to give them, man,
Some fake event that never happened.
so some event that never happened, bro. And then they're getting American aid as well on top of that as well. That man are
The Japanese are still being paid. The Japanese, they're still getting reparations from Pearl Harbor, where they put the Japanese American citizens in concentration camps in America because they might be for Japan. The Japanese Americans in Japan,
After they bombed the shit out of
after they bomb the shit, exactly. They put them in. They still get paid off that from this day. You know what I
Imagine
mean?
that, you getting paid off an event that never actually happened.
bro.
But you got people that actually recorded history of all the slaughtering, and some of the history is not even recorded because there's so much slaughtering. Of all the fucking that these devils done for over 400 years to one nation of people, but that they ain't got not $1 of reparations from these devils, man. Not saying that we want that, but that's recorded history. And you got some people getting paid off something that never actually fucking happened. Millions upon millions of dollars each fucking year.
Right, did you see the spirit? The Lord had this plantation burned down in Louisiana. You see, it was burned down, and then it was a plantation. It was like the largest plantation. That basically the largest remaining plantation. But the devils that owned it, you know what they were doing in there? They were hiring it out for weddings and that. And the spirit had it burned down. And now Jake is all on social media, and Jake made like T-shirts out of it, like T-shirts of the burning thing. You know, because I was seeing it all. Jake's like, God, thank God the ancestors have spoken and whatnot. It's rousing them up. It's judgment. And then the Edomites, there's Edomites that are unhappy. They're not happy that it burned down because they said this is a part of history and whatnot. But then people are like, hold on, if you really cared about it being part of history, why the hell are they still using it to their people are paying to do weddings in there and wedding photos and doing wedding. They're using it as banquet hall, a bloody plantation. You know them big southern plantations. They're massive. Them houses, Candy's land. They're massive ass houses, big white pillars and shit. The shit burned down. Lord had the shit burned down in America, and then it was like a big deal. I think it's Louisiana out there, and it burned down. And then all the Jakes was up on social media, happy that it happened. They made T-shirts out of it and that.
Those rising up the spirit of Jake.
That's what's happening.
They're seeing all these attacks now between the tribes and Esau, predominantly black Jakes, Esau, The other day I see a video of Jake getting attacked by a bunch of like gang
Edomites.
Harley Davidson type Edomites in the bar
Yeah.
because they're saying that he didn't pay extra tax or whatever. So they just jumped him. You get me?
Really, it's a racist attack.
Yeah, it was a racist attack. He was fighting still. He was a big Jake, like a Mandingo warrior type Jake, but he had to fight his corner. But obviously they overpowered him because there was too many of them. But that spirit of Jake rising up is going to come back, man. Jake's going to start
Scripture says it.
fucking these crackers up.
Tear them like a young lion.
Chapter 5 and 5th chapter, man.
We prophesied now.
Yeah, man. And then
And that's all the spirit, bro. The plantation burned down. You see the video of it. And then Jake's made these t-shirts. There's Jake's already Jake will make something out of it. They made a t-shirt and it's got like in the front lawn, it's like Jake's having a barbecue while the thing's burning.
Yeah, he saw the same shit to us.
You get me?
He was having
It's like
barbecues.
Jake's having a barbecue. It's like a cookout, and the thing's burning.
Yeah, but he saw having barbecues and putting them in postcards of Jake hanging in trees, man.
And people are even saying that new Michael B. Jordan movie, Sinners.
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
about
I haven't seen it yet, but it's about they show
about the
reincarnation and
two-thirds.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
But it's about the 2/3 and wicked ass Jake, basically.
yeah. So I
There's all
gotta
that
watch it.
blues and that music back there in southern different states of America. There's a lot of witchcraft that was behind all that. A lot of mysticism. That Jake used that same shit they're doing today in the same industry, Hollywood and all that. That shit they was doing that in the early 20s. The high levels of witchcraft and that. But that's Jake, isn't it? Jake had especially like the tribe of Levi and Simeon. They had the instruments of cruelty. So he was dealing with that high level of witchcraft back then. And he used it for some of the music as well.
Because people were saying, even with that plantation burn, Jake, they'll equate it to some left-hand side type shit. They were saying, that it's no coincidence this movie's come out. And there's this doll that a lot of them Southern Jake, I forgot what the doll was called, but it's like a voodoo doll that them Southern Jakes know about. It's like a mythology. And they said it's no coincidence she moved from one state to another and it burned down and whatnot. Because they're into that. A lot of our people are into that stuff, basically. So it's like there's one specific doll, I forgot what it's called, but it's no coincidence that this movie Sinners has come out. It's showing kind of reincarnation, and then this thing's burning down, it's like the ancestors are speaking, blah, blah, etc., etc. But we know it's Yahweh Bashem Yahushai rousing shit up. That fucking plantation burned down, man.
Good, man.
And Esau's upset that they're saying this is
America's gonna burn down.
they're saying this is historical heritage. Jake's were like, no, they enslaved our ancestors in there.
Because America's not about a big fucking plantation. So that's indicative of what's gonna happen to America. It's like with them California fires in the Palisades and all that, them extreme fires.
Yeah.
The firemen couldn't put the shit out for days, and then that's the same thing that's gonna be in America. America's gonna be
A whole land.
A fire not quenched. You can't be able to put out, fire squad and all that, fire brigade and all that. No fire's gonna take that shit out. That's just gonna be burning for a long ass time.
A whole land.
Man.
I think it was a volcano eruption in two places.
Sicily, Mount Etna.
Yeah, Mount Etna, that was it, yeah.
That erupted.
The Lord's just making his presence felt and known, man. And it's only going to happen more and more as we draw closer to the hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble, and World War III.
Scripture says thou shalt be visited of the Lord of fire, storm, tempest.
Visiting the earth which you made.
Got a bit more on this. It says, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming.
Yes, and the Lord going to destroy it. He's destroying his truth, destroying his wicked ass kingdom with the truth of his mouth, being the prophets out here in the highways and hedges. That's why it's imperative that we're seen out here in the highways and hedges each week. This is our main occupation, man. This is part of the labor and doing the work. This is what you call doing the labor of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, prophesying his truth. Not any other fucking theatrical, deceptive type gimmicks, marching and all this other shit that these other camps doing. All for gimmicks, all the AI videos and all that, showing themselves to be superheroes and all that. You ain't got no spiritual power, man. You guys are out here fantasizing and fraud, man. And
Selling the dream.
selling a fucking pipe dream. And you guys are basically decaying as well, because your whole shit is flawed from the inside out. There's all kinds of bones and skeletons being revealed about you fucking majority, mega camps, I want to call you, man. Because you guys are like mega churches.
It's nothing but a church, bro.
Yeah, especially the IUIC. They're nothing but a bunch of Catholics, man. Reverted Catholics and calling themselves Israelites, man.
That's why we're about the elect, because a lot of people know, even now with all this that's happening in Israel, the things coming out of these other camps, a lot of our people know, okay, these guys are fucked going off fucked up, but then they're still siding with them, showing you a lot of our people are just into straight wicked. 2/3 are into wickedness. We're looking for the elect.
That's it.
We care about the brothers and the sisters that are gonna hear Yahweh Shai. The rest of the Jake's got to just go in this world. You know?
The rest of them that are blinded, they're going to be destroyed, man. And now we don't care about the 2/3, man.
The Lord said not to. See, as on a flesh, go on, bro.
This is Romans 11:7. What then? Israel have not obtained that which he seeketh for, but their election have obtained it.
That's
And
that's the brothers and the sisters that are going to hear this truth, the elect, which is a few. You know, and you know, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, he had to tell a lot of prophets throughout the history, listen, I don't care about the 2/3. He had to tell them men that were prophesying, do the work, but I'm telling you, I'm going to deal with it all. Because you know, as on a fleshly level, you might feel sympathetic. Then a nigga does some stupid shit to you. You realize, man, the Lord already warned you. Yeah. You get me? It always happens. You know, like you might be cool with a certain Jake, being compassionate, and then do dumb shit. Then you realize, oh shit, the Lord. Yeah, it's like on you. So this is the lessons we learn.
Yeah. So that's what the Lord told the angel told Ezra. Don't worry about how the ungodly are going to be saved.
Right.
Don't worry about how the godly are going to be saved. Don't worry about the ungodly. How they're going to be punished. Because these wicked ass niggas, they're going to be punished, man. No one's going to come to their aid. No matter what you say to try and save them. These niggas are wicked. They're going to be put out of their reason, man.
Unreasonable. Yeah, that's
the
what it
majority
is.
of the niggas, majority of the people that come up against us is our own people, man. Same with the Yahweh Shais, your own people. We could ask so-called J's of our people that was coming up against him, man.
Even on a low level, man. Even on a low level, this is true, so true. Because I used to hear people say it, I'm like, you know what, bro. Niggas are like some of the worst managers. They're like they're like slave drivers.
Stevens.
When they're police, when any kind of position niggas get, they're like for real. They have no compassion, bro. Like, but then you get some heathen manager might even be better.
More lenient.
I've seen it. We've seen it. We've experienced it, man. Them niggas some niggas come with that step. You know, like they're like Django, Stefan. He just wanted to kill. And remember, even Django said to him, I bet you've seen. Because Django was kind of like the elect, kind of really. Remember, he said, "I bet you've seen how many niggas have you seen killed in this plantation?" He said to him, because he's seen it all. Yeah.
I'm not nigga out of
Because he was the one killing them all to keep them in line for Candy's land.
What's that nigga?
And it's the same thing. You see, you got to be spiritual because the 2/3 they want to keep you in line for Massa, which is Esau and this. Go on, bro.
I was gonna say, like, look at the case of Yahweh Shai, for example, when they took him up to Caiaphas and that, and then like, even when they took him up to Caiaphas, they had a council with the Israelite high priest and the wicked niggas first. Then they took him up to Pilate after that because they had to conspire amongst each other whether they all really wanted him dead, and they agreed on it, and then took him up to Pilate. And then Pilate was basically at one point saying, "Nah, man, like, I don't see," because his wife basically had that dream. Yeah. And then he was saying, "Listen, I don't see nothing wrong with this, man." And they literally turned to the crowd, Jake, and they were like, "Yeah, crucify him and give him to Barabbas, bro."
Yeah.
So Jake is wicked. That's why. That's why they're going to be destroyed.
Like you're saying, bro.
Yeah, that same wicked generation from back then is here now. So them 2/3, their offspring are here. That's why they're going to be destroyed, man.
And remember what they said? Lay his blood be upon
Yeah,
us
they
and
said,
our children's
bro.
children.
They said, let Barabbas come out. Fuck it, put his blood upon us and let our children suffer if he's righteous. Fuck it. Like,
Bro, it's true. Even in this world, man, it's like 2/3 if you like have to deal with certain situations in this world, it's 2/3 weighing man down. And you know the jokes thing is, what did 2/3 do in this world? We get painted with that brush, you know, because we're Jake in this world too, which we avoid 2/3. But you know they weigh you down, man. 2/3, man.
They're holding back progress.
They're holding it back, bro.
This is why the Lord's not going to deliver all Israel this time. You know, over 4,000 years ago, the Lord delivered all Israel out of Egypt, and then 40 years, the 2/3 basically died in the wilderness. This time, the 2/3 ain't making it out of America, man. Modern day Egypt is America, spiritual Solomon, spiritual Egypt. This time, the wilderness, the 2/3 are going to die in America. That's it. They're not going to make it off the shores of America. Only the elect are going to be beamed up and taken to the wilderness to chill. For whatever amount of time we have to chill, and then we're going to go
Get to
around
that promised land,
conquering like we're supposed to, man.
Hey, bro, can you imagine that? Can you imagine how fucked up that 40 years was? Debating niggas. Think about the headache.
As soon as they left, I was crying.
Yeah,
saying
they want to go back to Egypt. They don't want to do that. Motherfuckers didn't want to building idols already.
That's why I said
Yeah.
the Lord said
You know-
that had the chariot out there, the zapping niggas.
Yeah.
The zapping niggas. The Lord was
Yeah.
actually killing niggas with laser beams in the wilderness, man. That's how he was getting killed.
That 40 years, man, Aaron and them must have got man, pure headaches, bro.
You know the one thing I couldn't believe I was reading, but you know the passage where it says like, yo, the man were complaining saying, yo, back in Egypt we had watermelon and leaves.
Yeah.
Cucumbers, the garlic.
So that the sea split, bro.
Yo, I see the sea split, they get a manna from heaven,
Bro,
bro.
as soon as they got delivered, they brought 2 cats.
Yo,
To the fucking gold.
yeah, man.
There's one Jake. I'm around. He's not in the truth and everything, but some people are more reasonable than others. He even gets on other Jakes to me. I've not told him nothing about the truth, but he goes to me, oh, what's wrong with some of these? Because we are around certain people, they got this fucking colonial mindset, always begging these whites and that. And I'm just there quiet, like, yeah, right on, bro. You're in the right spirit. That's it. You're in the right spirit.
That hormone slave.
They got that
You
hormone-
know the Lord might wake him up.
You might wake him up, bro. He's got the beard and all that. He says, "Who is it? Why? Constantly begging these like." And I said, "You're in the right spirit, bro."
Straight.
They always wanna put you down for them, and I said, "Bro,
That's
because
Jake.
he's feeling it."
Yeah.
I said, "Yeah,
Jake always wanted to please Massa, man.
yeah."
Like they said, they always that Stephen spirit. What's that nigga doing up on that night?
Yeah.
In that spirit. Man.
You gonna stay in the big house?
Yeah.
And you know what? The other nations, they do things on a level, but they will use Esau's system to help their nation.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They do stuff like that. Why do you think Elam's prospering in England? They've kind of almost taken England over.
Yeah.
It's true he said, because even
That's
Godfrey
how
said
Tommy
that.
Robinson's kicking.
Tommy don't like them because they got numbers. The thing is, what are you saying, bro?
Not done
But I was gonna say what you said. Even like Godfrey said that I think you met like triads or something like that.
Yeah.
Remember that video?
Yeah.
He met some triads. This guy, we love black people. You guys are special, you know. You guys are the world trendsetters. Everything you do, the whole world follows. But there's one thing about you guys: your unity. You're always divided.
Yes, I saw that, bro.
Yeah, I saw that.
I saw that, bro.
They know.
Right.
He said not even in wickedness you guys can't work together.
Crazy curses, man. Yeah. Lord's made it where.
But that's
no
why
matter
they-
what, we're never gonna come together like that unless He's sanctions.
Like
We're
the-
gonna start to come together now through the elect. They're the only ones that's gonna really come together and stand as a unit. Not to say we're gonna build a society on this side, but in the kingdom to come.
Yeah, but we're
This
building
place
a,
has to be destroyed.
and the brothers in the truth now, we're building spiritually because we're building the foundations of
Well, we
the
are
kingdom.
actually built, the scripture
Yeah, we're
says.
building the foundations of the kingdom. We keep the law to the best of our ability. We Lord willing love one another as the scripture says. You know, we tend to each other according to the word, not our own opinion.
Yeah, it's the one body.
Yeah.
I was
So
trying-
we're the temple being
we're the
built
temple,
again.
but
We're the parts of the brick.
the
So
third temple.
till we get now, when the Lord comes, He's gonna give us the gifts of like the carnal gifts. But for now, He's given us the best gift is the word. That's brought us together. See, we're actually coming together. So this is the way when you know, hey Jake, how black people they always argue with one another how they can build a penny in Esau's world. No, you do it from your house side. This world's got to go. But they will never
Jake don't
accept
even-
that.
Jake don't want to accept that they're the Israelites.
Exactly.
He told them that the Israelites, they say, oh, that's the white man's book. King James is a white man. I have no
Blaspheming
like,
and
just talking mad shit like that. The other day, I see the Wi-Fi camp
Yeah.
over there in Chicago, even though they're going off, you know, but they got conversing with this Jake, this wicked ass Jake. They didn't want to accept that. We were the Israelites, we're the biblical Israelites, and we need to come together and, you know, unify
Yeah.
as one people. Apart from the so-called white man, but the Jake didn't want to hear that. And then they ended up, you know, they had that scuffle at the end of the video, you know what I'm saying? You know, it just shows you that Jake's is out there for 2/3, man.
They'll do anything to hold on to Esau's world, man.
Even though they're seeing all the wickedness.
They still see, man. Go on.
I was gonna say when we was in central London, every other time somebody come and had a problem with a sign, they would never ask about another nation. It was always why Edomite wasn't on the sign.
Well, there was one Jake. I'll never forget this. There was one Jake, and we had the Middle Ages sign, and brothers was breaking stuff down. And there was an Edomite woman, and he turned to her to ask her, "Is it true?" I remember that. And brothers were like, "Bro, I don't remember. We used to encounter all kinds of motherfuckers. But it's Jake. He looked at the white woman to ask her, and she actually said, "Yes, it is." So he had to get acknowledgement from a cracker about your history.
That's how Jake.
When we're telling you,
Yeah, that's
yes, the brothers are.
Unless Esau confirms it, it's not true.
Right.
It's some hearsay.
And that's why now, even now, if you see on social media, have you been it's all right. You see on social media, you can see all these things of like Jake's actually coming. Yeah, Africans were in England with Septimius, and but it's because Esau's starting to speak on it, which is really because of the brothers teaching this word. They can't hide it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
He's
know what I
trying
mean?
to act like he come
Like
up
he's
with-
telling you, bro. And then a lot of Jakes are jumping on bandwagons making videos on it when brother's been telling you 30 years back, man.
Yeah, a lot of them just jumped on it because you remember Putin. He showed the vote.
Yeah,
so
he
that
showed-
now people want to get
Right,
into
but
it.
Putin showed that Yahushua was a man of color because they've got the icons.
Exactly, yeah.
Even during the World War and stuff, right? Stalin and that, you know what they were doing? They were really conserving a lot of them icons.
Yeah.
Because I think the Nazis wanted to even take a lot of the icons out of Russia and that.
Yeah,
they were at war. Hitler.
Hitler was going on all the different what's what they call
Like
it?
monasteries and stuff.
Monasteries
Yeah.
and a lot of the convents and all them different temples, and he was destroying a lot of things. He was looking for old relics as well. Because they were always into like high levels of witchcraft on the left hand side, innit? So we look for old school relics. We go to a lot
Things
of them.
linked to the Bible.
Yeah, we go to
Yeah.
a lot of them lodges as well.
Yeah.
Ransack the lodges, Masonic lodges.
Yeah.
Just like they show you in Indiana Jones, it's showing you that Hitler was-
Exactly that.
the Germans looking for the
Well, the Indiana Jones was about the Nazis and
the
them.
Nazis looking for the Ark of the Covenant, or they were looking for the elixir of life. And they were looking for certain things, mysticisms and all that, because they knew that stuff had power.
Yeah.
But they were going to use it on the left hand side. So that's what Hitler was known for back in them times. Stalin.
Yeah.
They all knew about that history, man. That's why Hitler said to be a true Jew, you have to be a
You have to have like black blood, isn't it?
you have to be a
Yeah.
the term is term again?
Schwarzer.
Swatcher.
Schwarzer man.
Swatcher religion.
Schwarzer man.
To be a real Jew, you have to be a Swatcher religion. You need a black.
Precept. On the point we mentioned earlier. This is Jeremiah 2:33. Why trimmest thou thy way to seek love?
Yeah, that's the majority of our people, man, because they're so conformed to the society. And that's why 2/3 are ultimately going to end up taking that hip typology, because they love the society, they're too conformed. The Lord said to be renewed in the transformation of your mind, meaning step away from this place to me. Come out of it, my people. But Jake don't want to come out of this place mentally because they've been over in the West too long, and they love their captors, man. You know, that's that slave homeborn slave mentality of Down syndrome, man. You know, that they're just used to that, accustomed to that behavior, so they don't want to lose that touch. They don't want to lose the love for their master because they think if they don't appease their master, that they're gonna lose out in the end.
Like I say, like that's what they done throughout the scriptures. Like even during Jeremiah's time, in Jeremiah 44, there was a time when the angel showed Jeremiah all of they were doing, like worshiping Ishtar, baking queen and cakes unto the queen of heaven and that, worshiping Tammuz. And then Jeremiah confronted them, and they basically said, they told Jeremiah to fuck off, but they said, yo, like, look, if we stop following the ways of the heathen will come up against us, and we're gonna have trouble with the flesh. So, like, we ain't hearing what you're saying. Like, we want to deal.
Jake's always done that. They did it during the time of the Babylonians, did it during the time of the Greeks, especially under Antiochus, Seleucid line and all that. Jake's was basically coming against their own, you know.
So
ready
many
to
foreskins back on.
Yeah, this guy had Judas Maccabees and his family fighting against wicked Archjakes, and he was fighting against the Edomites too, to get back the temple, man.
Which is a double. That's how you know we need the Lord, because we're fighting fights on all fronts. You've got the wicked of our people. It can be even in your own household, 2/3 of your own household. All that, everything, man. Then you got to deal with Esau and the nation. It's a big battle we're dealing with, man. But the Lord said it's a lot of demons, man. The Lord called it a spiritual fight. The helmet of strength. You know, because bro, we got to deal with demon 2/3, man. Wherever, at the job, wherever, any life encounters we have to deal with just complete.
High levels of
Yeah, man. Whether it's the nations, whether it's our people, whether it's women, whether it's wicked men, women, all of that,
and
man.
then spiritual as well. You get actual demons plaguing you,
Deep rule,
trying to derail your journeys and that.
nightmares.
All these different things, you know, plaguing the flesh. It's all demons, man. Any ailments you have, it's all demonic energy anyway. So it's just showing you that, like the Lord said, that's why you have to have that spiritual armor on at all times, right? Stay girded up, because we're constantly fighting these different forces, man, principalities.
Even the past.
Distract you, try and knock you off the path, but that's why you got to pray more, you got to fast, distract you, try and knock you off the path, but that's why you got to pray more, you got to fast more. You just got to stay in the scriptures, man, stay spiritual, man. Don't think about too much carnal shit. I know money, you know, everyone needs money, but money is not going to live you and all hell breaks loose. So you always got to think, to stay on a spiritual level, man. Obviously, everyone's got bills to pay. We all have to sacrifice something, one way or another, to make it in this life, through this life. But you don't. When it comes to compared to this truth, you don't let that fucking deter you. Don't let that deter you. Don't let it quench your spirit. Don't make it disenchanting you from doing the work, putting up your videos and all that. Just constantly do it, man. No matter what you're going through, any elements. Brothers are going through different terminal illnesses, chronic illnesses. The men are constantly out there just making sure they do their videos week in and week out. It's a requirement, man. If you want to be a true soldier of Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, you're going to put you through these tests. And that's all that is. It's just tests to show your character of who you truly are. If the Lord puts you in this kind of dilemma, how are you going to deal with it? Are you going to bitch up, cry about it, or are you going to deal with it like a man and persevere, move on to the next challenge? You're going to keep, like you see in them important challenges, where you see man running over these different the tournaments and that, you have to go through these different, you know what I'm saying, swinging on the bear thing.
It gets harder,
It gets harder, man. You got to keep going, man. Sometimes you might fall
What's
over.
that one they have in England? Ninja something.
Yeah, the ninja thing. That's the one thing.
They have to hang on
There's
this one.
one guy, he just got on something, he dropped, he looked like he was about to drop on the wall.
Finally got it.
But he grips now, he flipped himself back up onto the hoverboard thing, and then he just carried on, you know what I'm saying? It's one of them things, you're going to get knocked down in this truth. You got to stay on the straight and stay on the path. And the Lord, if you're with the Lord will keep you on the path. He says he's not going to tempt you more than you can be tempted. So he's going to keep you on that path. The elect are always going to make sure perseverance to the end. But the final test is coming, man. And that's the test that you don't want to fucking fail. There's no way you can fail it and you can't redo it like a stat exam and all that. You can't retake the retakes. There's no retakes in this thing. There's no respawning, there's no retakes in the final exam. Talking about the MOT to the beat. Because once that hour of temptation comes, that's going to be a final test. Whether you're going to stand firm,
That's
you're
the
going to
ultimate
fold,
one.
and you're going to bend for this new world order. So if you make haste in the time of trouble, that's your ass, man. You're done. It's sealed for destruction. But if you persevere, and even if you have to, go through the death, go through death and get beheaded and whatnot, torture and all these different things, you stood firm. The Lord's going to reward you for that, man.
Like, Daniel 12 says that this will be a time of trouble such as never has been seen upon the face of the planet Earth. And then when you read the scriptures, even from the words alone, like you can picture some of the gruesome things that have happened in the past. Like, for example, after the siege in Israel, where like it says, like, I forget exactly how it was worded, but it's like they was eating dung. Like literally, you had to literally sell dung to each other to eat, to the point where like Jake were deprived. You had the woman that basically said up to the king, like, yo, like, I ain't got no food to eat. She said, if the Lord can't help you, you know that account. And the family. But basically what I'm getting at is like, it's going to be so bad in the time to come where it's going to overshadow everything we read about in the scriptures, to the point where if you don't have faith to the point where you're willing to die, literally for your how about you're going to give in, because ultimately you're going to be put in situations where literally it's going to seem like there's no hope, but the Lord can make the impossible possible. And really it's out of nowhere, like he transported Habakkuk into the den of lions. Daniel gave him food in front of starved lions, took him back out, and Daniel was saved. Like shit that shouldn't happen.
Only it's about the faith, man. Because you've got these guys that preach the Lord, the Lord, the Lord, and you notice that they're a bunch of hypocrites. And half the time you don't attain to the Lord. We can't keep the law 100% anyway, because we're not in our kingdom. So anyone that's preaching with the Lord, well, that's going to lead to your salvation. It's basically lying to you. And it's about having faith and belief in Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. But ultimately, even after before that, it's about being predestined, man. At the end of the day, the Lord has a predestined spirit that he chose before the world was even created. Like he says he's chosen us out of the world, we haven't chosen him. He's predestined those certain spirits that from the beginning of time, they're going to make it. No matter what happens to them, no matter what hurdles or what comes their way, they're going to make it because they're part of the Lord's elect. But there's a predestination of the 2/3 also, like Zechariah 13:8, the Lord said that the 2/3 are going to be killed, man. They're going to be cut off and die. But the third part is going to bring through the fire. The third part is going to bring through the fire. Get Zechariah 13:8.
Reading it earlier.
Yeah, because they're going to be tried as gold and silver. What does it mean? And the second Ezra says the same thing, that the elect are going to be tried. Then it shall be known you are my chosen. because they're going to be tried, man. This is all about the trial of man's faith, to see if you're willing to go through that. Yahweh Shai he came as a mortal man through the act of sex. A man having sex with a woman. Yeah, he came in the flesh of man, you know, and he went through what men go through today as a test to see if he could go through that trial and error, and he did it, man. Even though there was times of doubt that he had, and he prayed to the Father to take this
The cup. He said the cup.
take the cup from him, but he still had to go through it, and he went through it, man.
Yeah.
Same thing that brothers go through. Sometimes we have little spouts of doubt here and there, but we're not going to let that overwhelm us to the point where we're going to stop doing the work. You know, because obviously we're in this flesh. The flesh is real. The spirit is always willing. So that's what the Yahweh Shai showed, man. You've got to just endure. And if you endure and you truly believe, the Lord will come to your aid, man. And look where Yahweh Shai is right now, on the right hand side of the Father, waiting to come back and inherit his world, man. And we're going to go through the same thing. So the same thing Yahweh Shai went through, suffering for us. Basically, are you willing to do the same thing Yahweh Shai did? Are you willing to drink that cup and suffer what he had to go through? Sacrifice yourself for your brethren, man. Because that's what Yahweh Shai did. And that's what the true men of the Lord are going to do. So that's what the hour of temptation is really going to boil down to, man. A man's character, your integrity. If you're a man of true honor, you know what I'm saying? You're not just feigning the word. You're not just, selling wolf tickets. You're really about that life. You know, you got Jake saying, I'm about that life. Well, are you really about that life? You haven't tried it. Yeah, you really need to stand 10 toes down for the Lord, man, like they did for us. We're not doing this all for nothing. We're going to receive a great reward. A great reward at the end. Something that you can't even fathom, man. Eyes are not seen, ears are not heard. But it's all about that trial, man. And, speaking for myself, brothers also, we're always thinking about that. That's always in the back of our mind, man, because we're living in that time now. Yeah. So we have to think about it, man, because that's why Ezra was saying, woe is me, woe is me. You should deliver me in those days, man. We have those little, contentious thoughts of how we're going to get through this. But then that's when you have to look back at the scriptures and remember certain precepts. What's that? What's wrong, bro? I thought I heard someone's phone. Certain precepts, certain stories in the Bible of how men was, persecuted for the word of the Lord. But they held strong, and those men are going to receive a reward, man. Their names are going to be written upon the 12 gates of the nation of Israel in the kingdom to come. Imagine that, your name written upon the 12 gates in the kingdom.
When you think like that, what you're saying shows humility.
Yeah, you got to be humble as well. Don't be proud like these fucking proud leaders in Israel of today. Because they're the first ones that's going to fall. They're all proud and bragging and boasting about the numbers that they've got, the money that they're making, the merchandise.
Clothes, the garments they have.
You know what I'm saying? All of the phylacteries. But they're the first ones to fucking fall in the time of turmoil. Look at the same IUIC talking about there, they're this big boisterous mega camp. They was running like fucking with the tails between their legs from them damn Hamites, man.
Kenya and all that.
What was the standing army in Kenya?
Mombasa.
Idi Amin was chasing you down, man.
Uganda.
There wasn't no standing army there, but now you want to go on marches every other week. Like there's some
chasing them
strong
down,
army, some retro army
that shows you they lack wisdom. Y'all went to them rebel lands.
Got killed,
remember these lands are not, it's not PC, bro. It's not America or England where you can dial 999 like that.
Yeah. They'll kill you and call down 999.
Yeah,
bro. Tell them that they did.
Yeah.
It was the 999 was fucking him up.
Yeah, bro.
It was actually the police throwing the canisters and throwing piss at them, man. So imagine that. So you guys, that's why that pride wasn't made for man. But yet and still you got these guys still thinking
they're like lambs to the slaughter, man.
Still thinking that we could go out there and jump on planes. That's what this truth's not about, jumping on planes and going from place to place, man. This truth is about pushing this word on the internet. That's why the internet was made, to do the heavy lifting, man. For the world to go throughout the four ends of the earth, through the World Wide Web. And that's exactly what the word has been doing, man. Since the 07, the apostles and elders been on the great millstone, been on the YouTube. The word's just been going out throughout the World Wide Web. And they got the fruit to show the numbers, man. Or the fruit to show
the fruit to show the works.
Yeah, the works. That's it. The works. That's it, man. That's what we need to do. We don't need to be jumping in no fucking plane and no boats, man, and no Boeing jets, man. What happens if the boat injection drops out of the sky?
Which is happening.
Please, I've got a couple. So it's Matthew 24. This is Matthew 24, verse 14. And this gospel of the kingdom, shall be preached in all the world.
Yeah, how is it preached to all the world? The apostles and the elders, a great host of, didn't jump on boats and planes and all that. They didn't have to do what Apostle Paul did back then in Asia Minor, and drop a little boats and that, sailing throughout the Asia Minors to, write letters, the epistles to Jakes in different lands, the Philippi and all these different places, the book of Colossians, the Corinthians and Greece. We don't have to do that. That work's already been done. But we got the World Wide Web, and that does all the heavy lifting. All we have to do is cast out the net, which is what this word on the internet, man. We're casting out the net through the internet, and the fish, the good fish and the bad fish have been gathered, and then the bad fish are being distinguished off, man. And the elect is that good fish that's been reserved for salvation, man. Because it says many are called, but few are chosen. Right. So that's out of the good fish and bad fish, the elect are going to be received.
Be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
Yeah, to all nations. Why? Because Israel's literally scattered amongst all the nations of the earth. That's why it doesn't make no sense jumping on planes. So you're going to go to every country on the face of the earth to try and, wake up Jake. What's the fucking point? You can't do that. The Lord said you're not going to be able to do that anyway by the time you come. You trying to go from city to city to try and wake up to Jakes. It could be something like 4 billion, in the billions anyway. Jakes around the four winds of the earth. You ain't going to do that with 10,000 men, or however many men you got in your camp. That's unaffordable, man. That's called a crisis right there, man. Because you can't afford to do that. One person might be able to afford certain flights and that your leader, because he's a multi-billionaire, but the rest of these camp leaders, they ain't multi-billionaires.
Yeah, well, if I can say this point as well, and also just remember the scriptures say that one man shall desire to enter into another city and shall not be able. Exactly. We're in a time of crisis where, they could lock off the internet, the airports, blackouts, and you just get stranded and, no one can't, do anything about it.
Yeah, imagine that. You're trying to travel to some different part of the earth, and all of a sudden there's an electrical cutout. And even when there's an electrical grid cutout, planes fall out of the sky. Yeah. You've got EMPs and all that. And that all the anything electric, EMPs and that means that planes are going to drop out of the sky. People are going to drop to their death. So you're just tempting the Lord, man. So the word's already gone out, man. You guys are just doing stupid theatrics and gimmicks just to make yourself look like you're the superheroes of Israel, man. There ain't super nothing about you. You're super stupid and idiotic, man, to think that you're going to go around all these different nations and wait till it comes. It don't make no fucking sense. Just stick to what the Lord said. We're supposed to be prophesying in the ends of the earth, which is talking about America. That place is talking about America. It's not talking about anywhere else. The Lord said you're going to prophesy to the ends of the earth. It's talking about America, man. Stay in America and prophesy, man. If you're about that life, you're really true prophet.
A witness unto all nations, and then shall the end come.
So the end is coming, man. Well, the end is here. And more as we draw closer and closer to the day of the Lord, it's making it more evident, man. As I said, we've got the situation with the strikes over there in Ukraine and Russia right now. The drone attacks and all the different bombings that are happening. Then you've got the Israeli strike in Lebanon and all these different places. You've got the wars and rumors of wars. Then you've got the AI situation with the databases now. You're also trying to set up that infrastructure of the mark of the beast system to number the citizens. And ultimately you're going to bring out that seed and make it mandatory, man. So we're in the time of the major last prophecies of the earth. Civil unrest, civil war, that's also going to take place. So we ain't got the time to be jumping on no planes, man. Just prophesy and do this work. Because before you know it, the whole system's going to implode upon itself anyway. Esau wants to bring forth that new world order. He's fast-tracking the new world order as we speak. So by the end of this year, who knows how close we're going to be to the actual end. Because by the end of this year, we'll be cool. It'll be mandated that by the end of this year that you have to have a biometric device in your right hand and in your forehead, man. You know it. But we know it's going to be breaking news. We know it's going to be breaking news, and once they make it breaking news, you're going to see the rats starting to scurry, man. Yeah. People starting to make haste in the time of trouble, like we've been saying. Especially these mega church camps like the IUIC and ICPK. They're the ones that's been teaching against the MOT to the BP and the CA. And all the time that it was that. And the apostles and elders of Great Millstone have been teaching that and never deviated from that truth. Because it is the truth.
We've been spiritually preparing for what's to come, whereas you ain't, and that's the difference. And that's why the Lord's going to have the back of his elect, man. Really and truly, as apostles and elders of Great Millstone on down, man. Because you're going to be examples of those men when the Yahushua returns that say, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons? And the Lord's going to say, I never knew you, man. Because you're doing the work of the Lord deceitfully. You've got the outward appearance, but inwardly, you're full of deceit.
You guys are workers of iniquity, man. Because you guys got ulterior motives. A lot of you are making merchandise of the word of the Lord, trying to sell t-shirts with fringes, you know, trying to sell these Israelite packages, marriage council packages, all this other shit. Try and make merchandise, and then you're changing the doctrine itself. And you're introducing hell doctrines, Catholicism into this truth. Now you've got the G-Unit, degenerate G-Unit Israelite camp, Genesis and all that, talking about Revelation 39 and 10. You're not talking about some slave and the so-called white man. Just changing up the whole doctrine, man. Then they're saying the lake of fire is over there in the land of Bosra, you know? Like, just doing too much. Giving heed to those seducing spirits. That's why the Lord said you got to be skeptical of certain people, man. Scorpio, man. Watch them, watch them and see what they're teaching. If they're teaching anything out of the ordinary to what's been taught, warn Israel and stay away from them degenerates, man. The Deacon, the Cars, and the Sards. There's now all their things about is debating Christians. Same shit with ICPK. All they want to do is debate. They have a debate live stream every fucking week on a different what's that? What's that? On a iPhone, different streaming thing. Where everyone goes in their live. But that's what they have that stream bullshit thing where they're doing debates with people on the online conferences and panels. Yeah, all that BS. That's what they're into now. Because they're trying to make merchandise, man. They're not the true prophets of the Lord. The Lord didn't bring us here to debate. We ain't come here to debate no one. We come here to tell you what it is, and if you don't accept it, that's you, man. You've been warned.
If I can say the Lord said, shake the dust of your feet, it will be worse for that city than Sodom. It will be better for Sodom and Gomorrah than that city in the time of the day of judgment.
That's right. One quick one. This is Jeremiah chapter 28 and 8. The prophets that have been before me and before thee of old prophesied both against many countries and against great kingdoms of war and of evil and of pestilence.
Because when the ancient prophets, Jeremiah, Isaiah, Ezekiel and them were on the scene, like they weren't worried about trying to form marriages between the people and trying to teach Jake how to build up a six-figure business in the whatever captivity they were in. They just wanted the Lord to come back and destroy the place, man. When Yahushua came back to the 12 after basically being revived, they didn't say, Lord, like, are you going to teach us how to build counsel with our wives? No, all they are you going to restore the kingdom at this time unto Israel, man. That's all they wanted to know. That's it. And the Lord said, no, this is not the time. You still got to go out there and prophesy. But they wanted it there and then. Hasted in the day. You know?
And that scripture, when you go to NLT, it says that if you can read it, it says different version. It says basically the same thing. But it says that they continually warn Israel, man. That's what the prophets do. They're out here to warn Jake to get right, to repent. We're not out here for no fucking superfluous gimmicks and no, theatrics and deception. We're out here to warn you, not for just your sakes, but for our sakes also, because we know this truth, and we want to get the blood off our hands, man. We want to get your blood off our hands. The Lord said, if we don't forewarn you, we know this truth, we're going to be condemned with the 2/3, man, because we basically know better.
Yep. So this is Jeremiah 28 and 8 in the NLT. The ancient prophets who preceded you and me spoke against many nations, always warning of war, disease, disaster, and disease.
So what's a true prophet supposed to be doing? Warning, man. It said always warning of disease, destruction, all these different things, pestilences that are coming upon society. Warning Jake to get right, to turn away from their wickedness. Like Prophet Jeremiah, like Isaiah, the Habakkuk's, the Obadiahs, all these different prophets, man. Small and major prophets. They all did the same thing, prophesy the downfall of many different kingdoms, man. They went out there selling t-shirts, they went out there making merchandise, they weren't part of the money changing team. None of these things, man. They were speaking against society. It wasn't for society. They will be known as rebels today, or outcasts, so to speak. Now they look at Yahweh Shai as a rebel against the Roman Empire. John the Baptist was a rebel. He cursed out the Roman society. He cursed out Roman leaders, man. Cursed them out to their face. So that's the same thing that the true men of the Lord will do today. That's why the GMS is Great Millstone and the most hated. That's good. That means we're doing the right thing. We're doing the right job. Because we're supposed to be the most hated. Man. We're not supposed to be seeking love and approval from these different degenerates out here in the world. Because these people are getting ready to be destroyed with the world, man, because of the love of the world. But the true prophets of the Lord, they're going to be hated, they're going to be despised. That's how you know you're doing a good job in the Lord's good books. The Lord said, blessed are you when men shall revile you and speak all manner of evil against you for his name's sake. And who's the most hated for speaking against this world and pushing the names of Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shai? If it ain't great Millstone. There's all these other camps that keep pushing the Most High and Christ blessed. Genesis, they keep saying Christ this and Christ that on their live streams and shit. ICPK will keep pushing that the Christ doctrine. IUIC, they're fully immersed in that Christ doctrine, man. They don't even acknowledge the Hebrew. They are like the Hebrews a foreign language to us, man. That's our ancient language. That's the language of the heavens, man. That's our custom, man. But they act like that's a strict foreign language, man. Like we're not even supposed to be speaking Hebrew. We're just supposed to be some westernized jakes with fringes in the border of blue. Pulling the Hebrew bodies. You guys are totally demented, man. And that just shows you that all Israel is of Israel. Yeah. And the Lord's making up his jewels right now. Showing that who's truly serving him and who's serving him not.
Precept.
Right.
This is 1 Peter chapter 4 and 17. For the time has come that judgment must begin at the house of Yahweh Bar Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yep.
And if it first begin at us, what shall the end be of them that obey not the gospel of the Lord?
Yeah, so major judgment's going to start happening more and more. Seeing how the Lord's been exposing certain cats within Israel, certain heads, top guys that was in Israel, the Lord's been exposing them for being a bunch of liars and feigners of the word. And he's going to keep doing that more and more. But then ultimately he's going to add physical harm as well. It's not just going to be a spiritual exposing them. You're going to start physically getting them out of the way too. You start putting a lot of these false leaders to death, man. A lot of their followers to death, because the Lord needs to make examples out here, man. All these fake camps out here, man. Because these people think that they're just getting away with murder. And they're going to carry on every Saturday, every weekend, coming out and spewing their lies and their jargon and that dogma, that filthy communication and trying to bewitch the people. The Lord ain't going to stand for that too much longer, man. There's going to come a time when the Lord's going to start actually executing certain Israelite men in the truth. A lot of people's spirits are going to be required in that time. He's going to call a lot of men's spirits back to the heavens. Just like he did with Comfy, man. Comfy was going on a little spree, a little run for a little time, and then the Lord cut that shit off. April Fool's Day, man, took his ass out. Then the whole COVID thing, man. And that's going to happen again. We're going to be making more examples of these false prophets out here. Because they are more false prophets than righteous prophets. Which you're going to come to find out. Then it should be known who am I chosen, man.
Yep. And it says, and if the righteous scarcely be saved, where shall the ungodly and the sinner appear?
Yeah, so the righteous are going to be scarcely be saved. So even like that's cutting, the righteous got to be treading on thin ice, basically. Yeah. This truth is very it's not cut and dry, man. It's very scary, man. There's 1 minute you can be in the truth, the next minute you could be out of it, man. You don't even know. The Lord could just draw his spirit back from you, man. The Lord could do whatever he wants. It's his will being fulfilled.
It's like it tends to straight bug out.
Straight bug out, reprobate. Like a lot of guys have been bugging out. Like I just mentioned the Genesis camp. They've been bugging out crazy like for the past couple of weeks. Just changing up the whole doctrine, man. Scriptures that was blatantly taught to, on certain topics of slavery. Now they're saying that it's not talking about that. They're totally bugged out. The Lord's taking the spirit away from them, man. And that's what can happen. And they still think they're in the truth. That's how bad it is, man. Because they got their little cameras and all that, and they got a little camp, they still think that they're in the truth. But the Lord's actually bugging these guys out, showing them that they're a bunch of reprobates in the spirit, a bunch of novices. So you don't want to fall in that, under that line, man. You want to stay above water, so to speak, stay in the good graces of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. And that's why it's imperative you just stay humble and keep doing the work.
This is 2 Ezra chapter 7 and verse 6. There is also another thing. A city is builded and set upon a broad field and is full of all good things. The entrance thereof is narrow and is set in a dangerous place to fall, like as if there were a fire on the right hand and on the left a deep water.
Yeah, so that's talking about what? It's the straight thing. The straight and narrow path of this truth. If you want to make it to the end of this journey, you're going to have to go through that straight gate, man, which is the hardships of being in this truth, and dealing with it, man, dealing with infirmities, dealing with all these demonic energies coming up against you, dealing with all the persecution that you're going to receive in this life, the grief, like our Lord and Savior Yahushai had to deal with a man acquainted with much grief. He was catching hell in this truth, man. We weren't all, cutting, finding, we weren't all cutting dry and fine and dandy with the Lord was on the scene, man. He had to deal with hell, especially from his own people. And then he was being plagued spiritually by Satan 40 days and 40 nights, man, to show you a trial of a man's faith. So we're always constantly being tried, man. And that's not going to stop until the hour shine returns, man. We're also always going to be going through different trials and different tests. And as I said, we don't want to throw that home until it's going into the hour of temptation, man. Because that's a test you can't retake.
It says, and one only path between them both, even between the fire and the water.
One path, man, the straight and narrow. It's like it tells you in Matthew 7, that the wide is the gate, and many go into it as follow, because they want to be part of this world, man. The ones that love this world, they want to be world-friendly, Israelites, PC, with a world-friendly doctrine, teaching about hell doctrines and shit. They're going through that wide gate, man. And they talk about the mega numbers, the mega church camps that they got, because they're going through that wide gate. That's going to lead to the path of their destruction, man. Because that wide gate's going to lead all those wicked-ass jakes into taking that sea hit, man. But the straight and narrow path is going to lead Jake away from basically taking the sea hit. The Lord said that they that keep his word is going to keep them from the hour of temptation, man. Those that hold fast into his word. So that's the path you want to be on, man. You don't want to be following a multitude to do evil. You want to go the opposite direction to where everyone else is going.
And it says,
There's not always an easy route to go.
it says, so small that there could but one man go there at once.
Yeah, that's why it's 1 out of 1,000 men, like the Yahushua said, that are righteous, man. And that righteous men represent the elect. 1 out of 1,000 adds up to the 144,000. The elect governing body of the house of David, which is coming very soon, man. As I said, man, look, every day that goes past, we're drawing nearer and nearer to that time. It's coming very soon, man. Before you know it, before the year's out, going into next year, who knows where we're going to be, man. We could be that much closer to this place being destroyed by a nuclear fire, man. They could institute a mandate and shit by the end of this year. Who knows, man? Next 6 months, who knows what's going to happen. We're in the middle of June right now. Oh, it's June. It's June. Ain't no microchip. It's June.
Added that.
That's the kind of mean. You know what I'm saying? That guy was talking shit. And yeah, it didn't happen back then, but it's still happening, man. It's still gonna happen. Matter of fact, no, it's gonna happen. It's still gonna happen. Yeah. But we're in June right now, man. Yeah. So the next 6 months from now, who knows what's gonna happen to the end of this year? All kinds of things have happened this year we didn't expect to happen, man. And the prophecies are moving like this, like clockwork now.
Yeah.
Popping off like popcorn, man. You're not taking this time. You know, like when you put popcorn in the microwave, the shit just starts snap, cracking and popping. That's what's happening with these prophecies now. It's not tarrying, man. And if you ain't spiritual, you can't see that, then that means Lord don't want you to see that. These prophecies are not tarrying no more. We're literally in the midst of the mark of the beast being made, implemented in the four winds of the earth. They got the Plantier or Palantir, whatever. They got an AI database that they're willing to put online to track and trace every US citizen, man. That's the mark of the beast system, man. That's the image of the beast. As we was talking about earlier, 2,000 years ago in ancient Rome, what was their main thing that how they used to number the people? The census. They used to number the people so they can collect their taxes. Why did Mary and Joseph have to go to Bethlehem and one of them to pay their taxes? Because they were being counted as part of the census. And they knew that they had a newborn child born, so they had to pay for themselves and their child as part of that tax. Whatever region that they were at, over there in the Middle East. You know, you had the whole of Judea, all these different places, and they'll put different leaders in those places, like different councillors that would read it. Like, you call the Roman occupation for a reason, man. Because they was occupying Jake in their own lands. And they was collecting taxes, census. That was one of the major things that Esau was about during that whole ancient Roman Empire, man. They've always been about their money. And that goes for this kingdom also, man. Esau's about collecting them taxes. That's why he's always concentrating on fucking tax evasion and tax this, tax that, tariff this and tariff that. Because they're about that, collecting them taxes from the poor, man. That's how they impoverish the poor. That's how they keep you poor, by collecting them taxes. That's why they call it capitalism, man. Within capitalism, they have to have high levels of debt slavery, man. It's all based upon debt slavery, which is what? Tax. So now they want to number all the slaves that's in their system by way of using this technology, AI, because it's more sophisticated and more efficient with the numbers. And they can keep up to date more. So now they're going to put everyone in this fucking huge database, and anyone that's trying to evade tax or not doing what they're required to do, they can spot them out on the machine, man, through a fucking AI technology, man. You know, and then ultimately if they put that biometric device on you, and you're trying to evade certain things, they'll be able to see that you ain't paid this. They're gonna just take it out of your account, or you're gonna receive this amount, and they know how to deal with you already. That's what it's all about, control, man. These devils are always about that major power and total control over the goyim. That's why they call people goyim, because the word goyim just means nations in the Hebrew goyim. Where they look at the people as cattle, they call them goyim, especially the small rats. That's how they look at the people. Now they want to brand their cattle with what? The mark of the beast, the digital ore. So we're here, man. There ain't too much love. That's why we can't be sleeping. We can't be lackadaisical in this thing. You got to be on fire more than ever, man, because we're actually at the door. And if you get caught slipping out here, that's on you.
Okay, cool. And this is Revelations 12:12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
Yeah, DJ Trump's going to start revealing them horns, man. It started when he got back into office, and the first thing he implemented when he signed all them executive orders was what? The deportations and with the ICE raids. But now they got a database where they can, even be more and more efficient with it. With that tracking people down and all that, evading people trying to escape, to track every US citizen that's in America. And if you ain't in their system, you're illegal. So they can either deport you, or they're gonna have to slap a fucking chip in you and say you can stay in America, but you're gonna have to take this chip and be part of the whole new system, man, basically. And to escape illegal deportation. To escape the ICE raids and all that, which they're still going to be throwing you over the border anyway. But that's part and parcel of this, the depopulation and all that. Esau's going to get rid of the number. He wants to depopulate Jake down to a minimum, man. He wants humanity to be down to 500 million. Out of 8 billion people on the face of the earth, he wants to cut it down to 800 million. So that's a lot of souls he wants to get rid of. So a major part of this new world order is deleting a lot of people, especially you two-thirds. The tribes, man. Which Esau's going to do during the time of the hour of martial law. Jacob's trouble. You know, so it's coming down. Go ahead.
This is 1 Thessalonians 5 from the top.
So what was you reading just there?
Revelation 12 and 12.
I'll get 13 and 15. Go ahead.
1 Thessalonians 5 from the top, the day of the Lord. But the times and the seasons, brethren, ye have no need for I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord so cometh as a thief in the night. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
Yeah, so the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief in the night. And to the ones that are not watching, man. And if you're not a true watchman of Yahweh Hashem Shai, you're not going to know when the thief is coming either. If you're a true watchman, that means you're going to be watching modern day news, checking out what's going on in the economy, economically wise, you know, commercially wise, you know, all these different stocks and bonds, stock markets and trading and all that. You're going to be up on the news, the rates of gold and silver, all these different things, man, because you're constantly watching for the decay of this society, man, so you can warn Jake of what's to come next, what's the next phase, and you can see that the final phase of this whole New World Order is about to be implemented, man. Why? Because the watchmen are watching, man. We have to warn Israel, warn our people of impending doom. So that's what we're doing, man. So read that again.
Yeah. Read it again. Verse 3. Yeah. For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction cometh upon them.
Yes, sudden destruction, man. So the ones that are not watching, they're going to get caught out there, and that's the majority of our people, including the false prophets too, because they're not warning the flock. They're not teaching them the right way, the true doctrine, you know, because they're not the true heralds of Yahweh Hashem Shai. They're really feigners of the word, man. Enemies of the cross. So a lot of people are going to get caught out there, man. All of a sudden they're thinking shit's sweet. As I said, the lights are still on, so on and so forth. And then all of a sudden, blackout. All hell's just breaking loose. No one has any answers. Everyone's just complaining and panicking and all that, man. And that's what Esau wants. He wants people in the midst of panic and hysteria, man, pandemonium. So they can bring that order through the chaos. Because they need all the chaos to be breaking out in society so they can bring forth this new world order. Which you're coming to that now. Go ahead.
But ye, brethren, looks like it. It says, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief.
Yeah, the true prophets are not in darkness, man. We got the light, which is what this word is truth. Wisdom and understanding, man. And we know this truth in its entirety. That's why we can say in the spirit, you know, the Lord, for the Rakah Kodash, that we got 100% truth. Not bragging and boasting, but we know we got the unction of this truth, man. The understanding, basically, of it. You know? Because we're out here doing what the Lord said to do. And we're not in darkness like others, man. People out here, majority of these people are asleep, man. They're in that sleep paralysis mode. They're dead from the neck up, spiritually. You know, and that's why they're getting ready to be taken, man. All these niggas out here celebrating Pride Month, they're ready to be taken and destroyed, man. They're going to be sheep led to the slaughter. They're ready to take the sea with them. Because they don't know what the time they're living in. They don't know what the fuck's going on. They don't know that their enemy's plotting against them, man, with great wrath. Because you know if they have got a short time. DJ Trump's going to show Jake for real that he's been a devil all this time, man. He's going to rear them horns, man, out of his damn head. All these back and forth between him and Elon Musk. As I said, that's all smoke and mirrors, man. Because at the end of the day, they're both working for the agenda of the wicked elite to bring forth that new world order system, man. And, Elon wants to put brain seeds in people's heads. Yeah. So he's about this new world order, man. He's not against it. When Trump first got into office, he said it on his Twitter, the new world order, and these things, wearing a beast-like outfit. Because he's about the beast system, man. He's for it, he's not against it. The people like to be entertained, man. All that bread and circus, man. Be distracted from the real news. You know? And that's why you got the prophets out here. And that's why ultimately Esau wants to come down and destroy the real prophets of the Lord, because we're not falling for the, you know, we're not seduced by the wicked devices of Satan, man. You know?
Ye are all the children of light and the children of the day. We are not of the night nor of darkness. Yeah, and one thing if I can say as well, the people in the world, they like to say that they're woke. But really, they're not, man. They're not
asleep, man.
Yeah, they're asleep. They're not asleep.
They're never.
Yeah. Yeah, because guess what? They're still falling for the okie doke of Esau's indoctrination, man.
Yeah.
The false flags, hoaxes, and the distractions.
Still believing in this whole politics and bullshit. But if they had another president or another party to put in office, they'll go for this. They'll still vote again because they're a bunch of coin, man. They're a bunch of followers, man. Sheep easily led, They believe in the system so much, man. Any false leader that comes, they really just put him into office, man. No matter what he says, these broken promises that he comes up with, because that's what they always do. They give you broken promises, they never fulfill any of them. And they do the same shit. Basically just do the will of the ones they set them up, which is just the elite.
Verse 6, it says, therefore, let us not sleep as do others, but let us watch and be sober.
Yeah, because the time of destruction is coming upon us, man. So we gotta watch and be sober. Yep.
And it says, for they that sleep, sleep in the night, and they that be drunken are drunken in the night.
Right?
But let us, who are of the day, be sober, putting on the breastplate of faith and love. And
Part of the breastplate is having the armor. So we mentioned it earlier, you got to have the armor of the word of the Lord constantly, man. You don't want to be out here found naked, man. Meaning basically lacking. Being out there in the world, enjoying yourself too much, forgetting what you've been put on the earth for, forgetting your position and what you're supposed to be doing on the earth, which you're supposed to be doing this work. That's the only reason why we're still here. We ain't here to fulfill our own fleshly lusts and do our own will and live out our days and working 9 to 5 and doing all this other shit, trying to make it in society. We're out here to do the will of the Lord. If you've been called into this truth, if you're a true servant, man.
And for a helmet, the hope of salvation.
So we've got to keep the armor on, man. And we're going to need that even more in these last days. Because wisdom and knowledge is going to be the stability of that time, the strength of salvation. So we're going to need that armor. Because all hell's going to be breaking loose. And these demons are going to be more and more intensified too. And brothers have been noticing that, man. Brothers been discoursing off camera all the different forces and the agendas of the wicked elite, but also all this demonic energy, man, these principalities that have been coming against us, man. Satan is working. They're getting very agitated, man, because they know that the truth is coming to pass and we're almost at the end. So these devils and these demons are intensifying, man. So we got to be intensified in righteousness on the right hand side. We got to stay on point, man.
The scripture says, as a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour.
Yeah. These demons are active, man. Yeah. The brothers always say these demons are very active, super active in these last days, trying to get brothers off that path, man. That's why you always got to remember these scriptures. Remember our first love.
I've got Revelations 13.
Done with that?
Yeah, I've done it.
This is Revelations chapter 13 and 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast.
Yeah, what is that image talking about? The ancient pagan Roman Empire and that system of, control back then. Because as I said, I mentioned part of that control was on the numbering the people and having the census. And now you got the revived Roman Empire through America, that deadly wound that was healed. And they're using that same Roman ethics that they had back then. And now they've got technology to make it more efficient, effective. So now they're going to be numbering the people with their AI technology, these major databases and so on and so forth. Go ahead.
That the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Yeah, and what was part of the major part of the integral parts of the image of the beast is the finances, your health record, everything's going to be integrated on that system, man. All your identity, your real ID is going to be all authenticated on that one database. That's why they want to put biometric devices in each person, so each recipient has an actual ID linked to that system, man, or linked to that database individually, so they can track and trace you on the grid. Watch you like you just be a walking antenna. Wherever you go, wherever you're doing, whether you're asleep or awake, or whether you're hiding under a bridge somewhere, they'll be able to locate you, man. You won't be able to hide. You know, that's part of the image of the beast. It's that financial tracking and trace system, man. As we just said, Trump has introduced it through the Palantir before the because he wasn't speaking about this 4 years ago, but all of a sudden he's part of that because this was always the plan. This is always the plan, man. It's always been a part of the agenda of the wicked elite. They're not about puppets, man. Him and Elon Musk. Their job is to abuse the people, make them think that they're against the system. One's for freedom of speech and blah, but really they're about integrating you into the system, man. The new world order. Because Elon Musk is supposed to be about the freedom of speech, but then he wants to put brain chips in. And then this guy, Trump, is supposed to be full of MAGA people and that. But everything he's done has been against him since he come back into office. Yeah. So, but now he wants to register and put them on the database. And even the MAGA people are coming against him now. Saying he basically is a liar. He lied to us. You're really for the republics, the rich. Working for the small hats, basically. They all do. They ain't got a fucking choice. You want to sit in that seat. That's it. Unless you want to end up like JFK, you gotta do what you've been told. Do what you've been paid to do.
Yeah, remember that movie Demolition Man as well? They show you how everything was like connected with like Taco Bell, you know, things were universal, you know, basically everything connected. They had the criminals, they were all frozen, and then when they unfroze them, they gave them a chip. Yeah, man, that was it. You couldn't even say rude speech or something. They were getting tickets.
Simon, Simeon, Simon Phoenix, he had a chip in him. I think he actually tried to pluck it out once too. But they show you that in Total Recall, he plucked it out of his nose, took the chip out of his brain. He had a brain chip, and he plucked it, he said he put the tweezers up the nose and pull it out. It's like,
Are you going to be able to do that in real life, though?
Shit's all beaming red and all that. Then he put it in a wrap. So when they came looking for him, they said, what's going on? Where is he? He's here. And they see it's a fucking rap. You know? Put the chip in a wrap. But you're going to be able to do that. Take the hand chip in. Because once you put that in your skin, it's ingrained in you, man. It's going to be latched onto you like as part of your DNA, the chromosome. You can't take that shit out. Even you have little remnants, particles of it as well. Even if you take the chip, you're still going to have particles of the chip in your body. So they're still going to be marked for death.
A lot of these people got that graphite in them as well.
Graphite,
Liquid.
stabbing jabs have been taken.
That venom in that.
Yeah. So you set yourself up for failure, man. Thinking that you're going to take that seed and you're going to be delivered. You're going to be in more trouble than if you didn't.
It's a blood pact between them and Esau.
It is actual blood pact. It will be a pledge of allegiance to the devil, saying you're going to serve him and he's your God. He's your master, basically. That's why the Lord said anyone that takes of it, he has to destroy you. You can't repent from that, man. Because you would have pledged allegiance. Just like the ones that saying they're not going to take it, they're more than likely going to be led to the guillotine and their heads on the shop floor. Certain men are not going to die, but the majority of men that are going to be made martyrs for the truth is because they said, fuck Esau, fuck the New World Order, I'm not taking the chip. And they're willing to die for it. It's either way, man. You're better off dying for not taking it than taking it. Because you get a better outcome, man.
If you take it, you're going to die anyway.
If you take it, you're going to die, but harsher death.
Yeah.
You'll be burnt alive on fire. That's not a light thing, man, to be burning alive. The Lord's going to make sure you feel every ounce of your skin burning as well. You smell it. Like burning pork and shit. You're going to be smoldering, all the toxins and everything that you're probably eating for the last month. In your bowels, you're going to smell that while you're burning alive, man. The Lord's not going to let you just die straight away. You're going to burn alive, literally. Slow burning death.
Crazy.
Because even when that Jake was dying in that Tesla that was on fire, he was burning his flesh, but the Lord made sure his spirit stayed in his body. The Lord can do that. And you know, certain people die quickly, the spirit just leaves. The Lord can make it where your body's burning, you're dead, but your spirit's in your body, so you're still feeling that pain. Right. You ain't going nowhere, man. You're staying there, man. You're gonna feel like you're in hell. For real. It's just burning. You can't get rid of the paint. Well, that's a horrible way to die. Not only just that, that's going to be in recorded history too. So you don't want to go out like that. It's not a good way to go out.
So, got a bit more. Verse 16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
Yeah, and the word causeth, when you go to the Greek, it's paeo, which means he's preparing. He's setting up the scheme, he's preparing the people. He causeth, he's making it ready. He's making the people ready. And how do you do that for the act of gradualism? That's why slowly but surely, it's showing you the endless retail stores with no staff, endless stores with self-checkouts, closing up certain banks, certain branches, no more ATMs, no more cashiers, everything's self-service, online, speaking to robots on the phone, everything's electronic now. They're slowly but surely bringing it in, then they're showing you can go and buy things to certain different stores. You don't have to wait for a cashier anymore. You can just walk in and walk out, getting used to this paying on the go. Pay on the go, man, tap and go, That's how the gradualism. So they're preparing the people. Now they're saying they're going to put you on a database, And they do it slowly in incremental stages, so see how the people react, And as the time goes on, it just gets more and more fucking austere, more draconian, man. So Esau's really going to come down on the people, Where, as I said, the mark of the beast system is already here. It just needs to be made mandatory, implemented full force, basically.
And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name.
Yes, so you're not going to be able to travel like Brother Cole, 715 man desiring to go into a city, not being able. You might not be able to go into a city not just because it's a blackout or pestilence or it's been quarantined off, but maybe because you ain't got a fucking microchip device in your arm, man. Maybe it's a smart city and you can't get access to that city. Unless you get 15-minute cities, unless you have a biometric device, you ain't going to be able to have access, man. You're going to be off the grid. You're not going to be able to buy and sell. You're not going to be able to go to the local store. You're not going to be able to buy the local newspaper, buy a sandwich. You're not going to be able to order anything online. You're not going to be able to go and travel anywhere because everything that travel is basically digitalized anyway. You don't really accept cash anymore. It's all biometric payments and pay and go, pay as you go type shit. Oyster payments. So everything's already planned that way anyway. So that's what it's going to be. You're not going to buy and sell, say if you don't have the mark. You're not going to be a functioning citizen, man. You're going to become an enemy combatant. Just like that movie, Enemy of the State, Will Smith. It showed you everything was, tracked in trays of shoes, his wallet, everything, watch. Showing you that the NSA, Secret Service and all that, taking away your privacy and all these things. That's what it's all about. Having total control. That's the system that's coming into play. And if you can't see that, then you must be a blind herd, man. Because anyone can fucking see that, man. But that's where technology is going. Yep. Even people of the world are speaking about the mark of the beast. On a regular basis now. Like, you used to just hear it here and there, but now the majority of people, like, especially when it comes to AI, they talk about artificial intelligence, they all of a sudden switch it to the mark of the beast system. Because they know that's the next phase, man. That's the final phase. So it's all about control by a small popular group of people. And then that goes into the barcode system.
Oh yeah. I got that last verse. Verse 18. Here is wisdom. Let him that have understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666.
Yeah, so that's the new barcode system. That's how they're gonna be able to see what your movements basically through that barcode system, like 666. So we're here, man. Just said the proof's in the pudding. There's only so much proof you can actually show before it's so obvious that this is what it is, And for the elect, they're gonna see it, and they're not gonna be deceived into taking it. That's all I can say about that. The rest are blinded, they're going to be deceived. Right. So any more precepts? What's the time on there?
Yeah. 2:16.
16?
2 hours 16. Yeah.
I've got a precept.
It says Psalms 55 and 21. And it says, the words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart.
Like I say, even on that, like right now, even though it's obvious that Trump is crashing this economy on purpose, you still got simpletons in America, because America's so stupid anyway. They'll believe whatever their politicians and the media tells them. You got people thinking that Trump is gonna make things good for the next generation and the current generation got to suffer. It's all bullshit. At the end of the day, they're driving you people into digital slavery, man, to a point where you're gonna be so broken down and poor, you're gonna have not and impoverished, you're gonna have no other option if you wanna survive but to just literally just bend over and receive that shit, huh? That's the end goal, is to put you in a quagmire in a position where you have no other option but to either die or accept this man's this man's system. So they're not gonna forcibly break into your house and pull your hand out and stick the chip in you. There's gonna be a situation similar to when with the CD where you gotta take it by choice.
Yeah.
That's why, like we've been going into, you're gonna be prepared for it. So when that time comes, you're either gonna be someone that's with your house washing your house that says, fuck that, I'm gonna stay with the Lord and trust in him, or you're gonna say, you know what, fuck it, I ain't got nothing else to lose, why not? And then that's just gonna throw you into further perpetual death in digital slavery.
Yeah, that's what it's about, man. It's a thing of consent. You really know where that's everything. Yeah, that thing of consent. It's a thing of consent, yeah. It's not going to be literally forced upon you, and they're going to hold you down and put a chip in you. But then, how are you going to have choice? That eliminates the whole thing of choice. They're just going to force it in you. How would you, how are you going to be able to get yourself saved if they force it in you? No, it's a thing of you accepting it, man. You making a decision in your mind saying, yeah, I'd rather take this, see it, rather than serve the Lord. Have faith in Yahweh Most High. And the majority of our people, they put their pleasure, they put their trust in the system, man. They put their trust in Egypt. Especially those that are, on the welfare system and all that. They're totally dependent upon the system, man. So imagine if they stop bringing in the food and so on and so forth, and they cut the electric, and people are told their backs are against the wall, and then you still come to the remedy saying the only way you're going to be able to eat and drink is you taking the sea here. A lot of people are going to go willingly. Just like with the whole CV thing, they said it was voluntary at first, and then they mandated it. So you won't be able to travel, you're not able to go to work, you're going to get fired if you don't take the seat or the stabbing jab. Same thing they're going to use it. They use celebs to advertise it as well. Those same celebs are still around today, walking around today, majority of them. Even though some of them suffer from certain side effects like the Justin Bieber's, Katie, what is her name? Katie, white picture named Katie Singer and all that. Had the Bell's palsy, their face is all slanted on one side. They had side effects of taking the stabbing jab. Justin Bieber had that, half of his face was stiff, couldn't move it. Another bitch, she had the same thing. But the majority of people that took that, a lot of them went back to the spiritual world. Because he told them the truth. And it was all a lie. Really the pathogen was in that stabbing jab in itself. Yeah, that was the real poison. Now they're coming out with a new variant now. And the people are going to go and line up to take the stabbing jab again. That's going to be another majority of people added to the death toll. That's part of the depopulation too. You got it. So it's 1673, 68, 68. So it's going to be a thing of consent. Yeah, it is. You're going to have to make a decision whether you're going to be like, yeah, I'll take it. And then a lot of people are going to be thinking about it for a while. Maybe they'll start first, and then eventually they're going to be like, fuck it, I can't stand it. Just give in. Or a wife going to go behind your back, take and get C hits without you even knowing. And the Apostle also said a lot of jakes will probably have their partners take it so they can get the food benefit from them. The wife will buy the food so they can still be eating, but they got the seed in it. But then you're going to end up taking it anyway because eventually they might stop a chick saying, "Oh, we noticed that we're doing certain things that require your other half. We noticed that your other half is benefiting if you taking this, so they're going to know. So eventually the man's going to have to go and get the CEO himself. No.
Oh, remember, Salakia, in that scene, I Am Legend, remember when they were trying to get out?
For the border.
Yeah, and he kept
So
scanning him. He's like, scan her again, scan her again. You're going to have scenarios like that where people get scanned and they ain't got the what.
Green light,
Yeah, they're going to have to be kept back.
Basically, he had his son and his wife were chipped.
Yeah.
He was chipped as well, but their scan wasn't working at the time. So he said, scan him again.
Yeah.
They still died. Died in the helicopter.
2nd Ezra 16, verse 68, yeah? First?
68, yeah.
And it says, "For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you."
Who's that burning wrath? Esau, man. He's going to come down upon the people with great wrath, knowing that you have got shit out.
And it says, "And they shall take away certain of you, and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols."
Yeah, a lot of chicks going to end up in the concentration in FEMA camps so they can be educated and implanted with the seed back into society. Go ahead.
"And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision."
Yes, so it's a thing of consent. You're going to have to give your permission, man. You're going to have to sign a form, basically sign the dotted line, sign the life away, and say, yeah, I'm willing to take this device, even if it's going to give me some cancerous. So like I told you in Revelation 16, I'm willing to take this device so I can become a US citizen or a British citizen all over again. Digital citizen.
"And in reproach and trodden under foot, for there shall be in every place."
Yeah, so you're going to be destroyed anyway. Yeah. Even if you think you take the mark and you're going to be delivered, you're still going to suffer more. You're going to suffer worse of death, man. There's a greater penalty of death than if you didn't take it, man. But that's only for the elect.
You're going to see it with the sore strokes,
Yeah, Revelation 16.
the cyanide, the chemicals and stuff like that, oils, the radiation, that's harmful to the flesh. So
Grievous soul.
It's cancerous.
Yeah.
So taking this seed here is not a guarantee of a utopia. You're still going to have rations and famines of food and water. And it says, "But there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord."
There's a great insurrection. That's starting now. Slowly but surely, you're going to be demonizing the men of the Lord more to the point where you're going to be using different AI technology. Double the dog. What do they call it? Fake imagery. Throw that on the media. Throw that up there. No, man. The imagery. Fake people imagery.
Oh, deep fake.
Deep fakes and all that.
Yeah.
To make false reality of situations. They're doing that now. They've got fake videos out there, people gathered together, and it's all through AI. They're thinking it's a real video. There's no one actually in the actual video. It's all AI generated, deep fakes basically. But it looks so real that it makes you actually think you're watching an actual bunch of people talking to each other, conversing. That's how definitive and how good the technology is. So Esau's going to use that type of technology to paint Jake in the bad light, doing something that they're not supposed to be doing, with border and blue fringes on or something. Just to make them look kind of crazy, demented, demonized basically in the eyes of the world. Which we're ready for that because that's part of the family of the world, isn't it? Part of the persecution. But Esau's going to come down upon the men of the world. That's during the time of Jacob's trouble.
They shall be like madmen, sparing none.
So Esau's going to come down with more harsher on the people. So in certain ways he's going to be forceful, but he's not going to be able to force the chip on you, but he's going to come down with that militarized force, like Minutemen, men that are going to be having curfews and shit like that. They're going to come down with more draconian legislation. So they are going to use force one way or another to come down upon Jacob. You know.
And it says, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses.
Yeah, if the housing becomes unaffordable and you get them eviction notices, you're going to get cast out your house because you can't pay your rent on time. You can't pay your mortgage, unaffordable. Certain men are going to get dragged out of their houses anyway by the military, martial law troops, cops, militarized cops. You know, something like these ice raids, people getting dragged out of their houses in the middle of the day or the middle of the night. It's going to happen, man. It's part of the persecutions, mainly to the 12 tribes. 2/3 are going to be going through that. You know, even some of the men of the Lord too. It tells you that, you know, certain men are going to be hemmed up in prison. And that's going to be a trial of your faith. You know? Don't marvel if the devil throws you into prison for a certain amount of time. It's happened in times past. Where the ancient prophets were put in prison. So it's definitely going to happen again.
It says, then shall they know. So like, then shall they be known who are my chosen.
Yes, it's like Apostle Alexander said. When they make that shit mandatory, then it's going to be known who the Lord's chosen. Because the ones that scurry and start panicking, saying, oh, I don't know if I'm going to take it. Say, should I take it? Should I not take it? Then you're going to know who are the chosen. Because the men of the Lord are going to say, don't take it. No matter what happens, just don't take it, man. No matter what they threaten you with, or they threaten you with this, they threaten you with your family, or killing, murdering you, and so on, whatever they threaten you with, just don't fucking take it. Just say no. Say F them, you know, cut my head off, whatever you got to do. I'm not taking no fucking cigarette. Then it's going to be known who are the Lord's chosen, man. And I guarantee it's going to start from the apostles, elders, and great most of them. Because those men are willing to die, just like we're willing to die for this truth. You know, faithful servants, man. Because we ain't got no life in this place. We're just existing. This ain't living, man. We're just existing. Right?
And they shall be tried as the gold in the fire.
Once again, like Zechariah 13, so the elect are going to be brought through the fire. 1/3 are going to be brought through the fire. They're going to be tried. You know, like being put in the cauldron, getting rid of those impurities, spiritual cauldrons right now. Getting rid of those impurities, so the Lord's going to bring us through the fire as those precious jewels, man. Those shiny, resourceful, precious jewels show us against it. Shine us against the whole world to show that these are his men. You know, these are the ones that stood stiff for him. And that's what it is. So we've got to go through the crucibles. You know, that persecution, the purging of his flesh. Purge all the impurities, man. The sinful world. At the end, the Lord's going to, you know, if you're part of the Lord's elect, you're good, man. And even the Lord said in that time, when people are starving and crying and moping around, he says, my servants shall eat. Your stay of bread is going to be assured, man. So we just got to maintain faith, like I was saying. It's really about having that faith, which is a key ingredient, a gift. It's not given to all men. So that's the main point. And even read it after that. The house of David. Read that love first. Love not the last verse, but after 73.
After 73. Okay.
74.
And it says, hear, O ye my beloved, saith the Lord, behold, the days of trouble are at hand.
So what's another name for the beloved? House of David. David is the word, means beloved. It's the house of David. The Lord saying, don't worry about the elect, don't worry. Go ahead.
And it says, behold, the days of trouble are at hand.
The days of Jacob's trouble are at hand. Go ahead.
But I will deliver you from the
Jeremiah 37. You know, the Lord says he's going to deliver who? The house of David from the same, the elect, which in turn is called the house of David. You know, so that's the house you want to be part of. You don't want to be part of the house of Saul. You know, the house of Saul is going to follow the way of this world and be destroyed. So that's what it boils down to. Man. So, any more precepts? Any more precepts?
What I was going to say is, Hebrews 11:1, man. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. That's literally how we're gonna make it out here, by believing that the same way the Lord delivered the ancient men, Moses, Job, Gideon, Samson, all of these examples that we read about when we come out here to camp, because we're coming out here to warn Jake, but also build up our own faith and remind ourselves of these great men, man. That's so when these times come, you know, like in the book of Eli, where we were walking and just reciting scriptures, it's just literally going to be ingrained in us, man. And we're going to no longer Yahweh Shema Shai, just of the elect, just carry through, man, regardless of what you suppose of us.
One last one. This is Matthew 24, verse 21 to 22. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world till this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved.
Yeah,
But
that mainly happened during 70 AD. But, you know, things of that nature are going to happen again. And this time it's going to be so much worse. It tells you in Daniel 12:1. It's going to be such a time as never been seen on the earth. It's going to be worse than any time of slavery, any type of captivity that we've gone through. It's going to be that much worse, man. You know, famines and all of that. It's going to be that and then some. So that's why the judgment is going to be so great. That's why it's not a time to be messing around. This is the final time.
there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened.
Yeah, so the Lord's doing all this to deliver his elect. He's going to come through for his elect. They're the only ones that's pushing his name and magnifying the names of the Yahweh Shai throughout the four winds of the earth, in sincerity and truth, and his doctrine and truth as well. So the Lord's going to, you know, fight their cause. He's going to come to their defense. That's why it says the name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous one of you to be saved, man. Yeah. Out here once again, so next week other rotters will be here, prophesy more downfall of this wicked out society, and wait for whatever comes next, man. But we're at the door, man, so brother's got to gird up, stay spirited, stay prayed up, all of that. So with that, goes up in the grace and glory to Yahweh,
Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Hashem,
Shalom, shalom.